You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Broadcasting from the Blanchardstown Centre, this is Phoenix FM.
This is 92.5 Phoenix FM, community radio for Dublin 15.
Hey everybody, it's JB Jeremy Borash, and you are listening to Darrow O'Connor on the...
Welcome to the Wrestling Rewind, the only wrestling podcast by fans who don't hate wrestling.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Wrestling Rewind. You're listening to Phoenix 92.5 FM, the True Penny Channel, Nerd to Know Media, and of course the WrestlingRewind.com. My name is Darrell O'Connor, and I was right, ladies and gentlemen, again. I was right again. This is just like when Greg McNeese for years said Sting was not coming to the WWE, and I was like, yes, he is. I also said on record for about a year that WWE was going to be sold, and everything they were doing was gearing up for a sale. And holy heck, did I wake up to the news today that WWE has in fact been sold, and not only has it been sold, but it's now owned, or will be owned, probably very soon, by Endeavor, the parent company of UFC, which means UFC and WWE are owned by the same company, and we are a couple hours away from Raw, so we don't know what's going to happen just yet. We had to do a show now. So obviously we did a show on Friday. Go check that out. It's on the feed now. It's on the True Penny channel. But we had to cover this now. Martin is not here, but I'm not alone, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined by the one, the only, my very good friend, Mr. David Stevens. Dave, welcome back to the show, sir. Great to have you back on the Rewind, taking your seat here. Not a 3-man boot this time, but definitely a 2-man boot. Welcome back, sir.
Oh, it's always so good to be back at a place where people love wrestling, because that's what this podcast has always been about. And man, was it so, guys? It wasn't just this past August, but it was the August previous that Dara. I'm gonna give you full credit. I'm not even gonna pretend I was on the train with you. I'll make you
weren't.
Good. I was, but fair enough. Fair enough. Dara was calling this all the way for the past year and a half. So it is so nice to hear somebody be wrong for upwards of 500 days to finally on the 501st day be right. It's so vindicating for Dara, and I feel so happy for him.
Sir, I will take that as it's intended. With love, of course, rather than with sardonic sarcasm, which of course you'd never do that, Dave, of course.
Never. But if we're taking victory laps, I have the receipts. I am the only person in our little Wrestling Rewind chat that was saying, so anybody else think we live in a world where Roman Reigns is going to be champion until the company gets sold? Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to that universe.
Well, what's interesting is, right,
the world where Roman Reigns retained over Cody, despite what everybody was saying, despite what 99.99% of people said, despite what M. bless his heart, the person that I was watching WrestleMania with, wanted so badly to happen. In the deepest of my heart and my soul, I remembered back to John Cena losing to The Rock at WrestleMania and thought to myself, no, never be 100% confident. The last time you were this confident, you were the worst wrong. So because of that, because I was so confident Roman would win, because of the rationale I had with all this, BTS stuff going on, it just made me go into that match going, you know what? He's going to retain.
No,
These
you know
crazy
what?
people are going to do it. He's going to retain.
Hold on, I have to give you credit. This is true, right? You did call it early on, and when it happened, I was ecstatic because but also I was disappointed. We will get to it. I was disappointed as well, but we'll get to that, right? And then Martin, because we woke up early enough, it seemed, because obviously I don't know what it was like for you, but I woke up around.
It was awesome. It was
so I went to bed at 5 a.m. I think Martin went to bed because we had a group chat going. I think Martin went to bed around the same time. I woke up then around 9 o'clock for work, which You know, it was fun. I don't know what time Martin woke up, but we had all checked in around 10 or 11 hour time. And we were talking about what happened. And the thing about it is, so I think Martin said, you know, this doesn't make any sense, right? And I was like, no, there's only one reason this happened. The company has been sold. And then, like clockwork, Dave, again.
Okay, but reactionary. This is all reactionary. None of y'all were saying this before the pay-per-view aired. None of you were saying this before CNBC ran an article. None of y'all were saying this a week ago. Yeah, you were spot on.
You were
Shout out to Door Bumper Clear. I was spot on.
I'm not trying to take credit for that, but what I am saying is you were right. You did call it right, but what I am saying is we were trying to figure out why they did this because people were so angry, and then once I was like, this is the company sold. That's the only thing this makes sense for. And then literally I heard from Sky ran the article, Sky News, WWE was sold. I'm like, oh my God, that has to be it. That has to be it. So what I think happened is, and again, I'm going to let you get in there in a second now, Dave. What I think happened here is Cody was supposed to win, right? I think that was part of the contract, whatever. This deal was brokered probably a week or two ago. And they're like, no, we want Roman to win. And that's what I think happened. I do think this was set up for Cody to win. I think I would say that 100% was the plan, but obviously this deal came out of nowhere, and it's a $26 billion deal. So hold on, before you come in, Dave, I was going to read this quote here from Endeavor's Twitter page. Quote: "This is a rare opportunity to create a global live sports and entertainment pure play build for where the industry is headed. Built for where the industry is headed. For decades, Vince and his team have demonstrated an incredible track record of innovation and shareholder value creation, and we are confident that Endeavor can deliver significant additional value for WWE shareholders by bringing UFC and WWE together." It's from Ariel Emanuel. Oh my God. Right. And
it's crazy. Isn't it?
It's so crazy that this is real, folks.
Good news, stockholders. WWE just got valued $3 billion over what it's worth. And congratulations. Everybody back in 2008 that bought stock at $8 a share. God bless you all.
And this agreement is going to make whatever. So basically, the way the breaks down. Endeavor is forming a separate company of WWE and UFC. It's going to be its own thing from Endeavor, right? And it's valued at $21 billion. $21 billion.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Now, I have some questions on this, and Dave, I'm going to toss it back to you in a second. What does this mean going forward? So we've seen WrestleMania, like the final WrestleMania under Vince, right? Obviously, Vince is still going to be in power. Creative will probably say the same. Dana White is still going to be president of UFC, and Nick Khan is still going to be president of WWE.
Yeah, clearly doesn't get you kicked off being president or in charge of the company with Endeavor.
Yeah. But what's interesting about this is it's like, what happens next? And for me, I think it's more like, will we see an impact in creative, do you think? And will the WWE network be removed? Will they create their own network where Fight Pass and UFC? Will there be this new thing? I mean, I genuinely don't know what's going to happen in Europe. I don't really think we'll probably be the last ones to know. But as an American who doesn't really have the network anymore, I think you watch a Peacock, right? So what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Like,
okay. Dara just pulled a me and asked 20 questions in the course of 2 minutes.
I never thought I'd be right about this. Genuinely, I was
so excited. You're so pumped.
I'm so excited. It's crazy.
So that's a great question. As last I read, because we're all basically researching this like crazy, even though we've you're gonna say, wait, Dara's been predicting this for the past year and a half. I mean, bless him for that. But so what I would think we'd see is what I read today is that while the UFC and WWE TV deals are both coming up in 2023, 2024, essentially, so it'd be good. They can kind of bulk negotiate them together. ESPN in America does the UFC, and WWE is, of course, split between Fox and the USA Network, which is one of the companies that NBC owns. Peacock, of course, being a subsidiary of theirs. Now, I did see that the deal with Peacock, that obscene streaming deal that they got, does go through 2026. So I wouldn't expect them to merge streaming wise until then. And that is something that worries me. I don't want to go back to the days where I'm paying the company $10 a month to watch their product, and then on top of that, they want me to pay $50 a month or $40, whatever UFC currently charges, to watch their pay-per-view. That goes contra to what the whole concept of W Network was. But you know what? I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot under new leadership. But this isn't how this was designed. Yeah, they don't care. At the end of the day, we're moving from a family-owned corporation that wants to make as much money as possible, but at the same time wants to make sure that their fans always feel like they're a part of it, to, the agent that Entourage was based on, Jeremy Piven's character, owns the biggest professional wrestling company that the universe, and I don't use that as a pun, but literally the universe that we live in has ever known to our knowledge of existence. So that's a weird world, to answer that frankly. So yeah, I worry if they're going to try and pump money out of pay-per-views, not include WrestleMania or maybe like the big four in the package that you get, and then include the minor ones. I want to support the company. That's why I pay them every month. But do I want to pay them $50 every month? No. Yeah. No, you're gonna start losing content. And you're going to start seeing the fans aren't going to buy into that either, but we'll see. So can they have different philosophies for UFC that they have for WWE? We'll see how that goes, but I am excited. I don't think that creatively we'll see any changes. I mean, at least till the third quarter or fourth quarter of this year. There's just not time to get people in. This has to be finalized, has to go through courts. It's not really a quick business deal when you want to acquire a company that's worth $9.8 billion. I mean, Twitter was a disaster, and that was only worth 4 times what WWE's worth. So, I mean, yeah, it takes some time to implement yourself. But I'm excited. I'm not down on this. I feel happy for Vince that he's walking out with an obscene amount of money. I'm happy for the shareholders and employees that will be walking out with a crazy amount of money. I just hope that. Well, the last thing I want to say before you jump back in is, but yes, in the back of my mind, do I worry that there might be a sort of talent agent-esque view of the product, which is, do we really need to have this character who we pay, I don't know, $3 million a year to, or should we have these 2 characters that we pay $500,000 a year? I don't want to get an NFL type of mindset. Let's still remember that it's a TV show and storytelling. At the end of the day, it's not a fight game.
Yeah, it's not a sport. Okay, real quick, I just wanted to kind of there's some more details that are coming out. So this is from Sky News from about 3 hours ago. They said that so basically Endeavor will hold 51 share controlling interest of the company, which does not yet have a name. So there's not. So basically, this company doesn't exist yet. It's not Endeavor. It's a company set up by Endeavor, right? And then
Just heighten that for a second, though. We went from Vince McMahon controlling 51% of this company to now an entirely different corporation controlling 51%. Boom, in the snap of a finger.
Yeah.
What is this world?
But existing WWE shareholders will own 49% of it. So that in and of itself is kind of interesting. Now, some people ask, Dara, how did you know this? I just looked at the graphs. And I also looked at the behavior of the company. When you look at any major company, or when you anything like that, the WWE were behaving in one way only. We are getting ready to sell. And, you can see it stripping back, making as much profit as possible, removing a lot of the fat, and setting themselves.
Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, they brought him back, but they cut everybody they thought they could get away with. Yeah. Everybody.
And when a company is getting ready to sell, it doesn't matter what this is. It could be a coffee company, it could be an IT company, could be whatever. They will strip the fat down to its bare minimum to keep the business going, to try and make it as profitable as possible, and then get a buyer. Right? It happens over and over again, and that's how I was able to predict this. You could see it coming, unless unless, and people are like, oh, Vince has gone mad, or whatever. No, he hasn't. And Nick Khan especially, they knew what they were doing. They were like, we were getting ready to sell this. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did not expect this specific deal. I did genuinely think Disney would buy it. Disney
or
made more sense.
Amazon.
Or Amazon,
yep.
for their streaming platforms.
This is what worries me. Is I was looking for. I mean, yeah, I'm okay with the Disneyfication of it because WWE has been years ahead of Disney and Disneyfying. If you guys want to get into like, you know what I'm trying to say, but I like to keep us on the air. Like, but that's the point. Like WWE has been years ahead of other companies in doing all the inclusion types of projects. They're phenomenal for that. Disney would have been a great partner. It would have been great to see them on that big of a streaming platform, but at the same time, it's a carny. It's a carny. It's a carny event that literally just made almost $10 billion, and that is hilarious to me.
Yeah,
hilarious to me.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what's
like. How can anybody be mad about Vince making this decision? I'm supporting what you're saying here. Like he turned something that is so absurd into $10 billion.
It is such a move, though. I mean, they and again, I'm trying to censor myself for the radio. They fire him, and he comes back to sell the company. It's like such a Vince McMahon move. I mean, I wish this was a storyline on WWE. I genuinely wish. This is like an attitude era storyline. It really is.
It would be.
It really is. Like they finally remove him, and he's like, "All right, well, I'm just gonna sell it." He goes and sells it to the guys who own UFC. So look, I mean, this is the biggest story ever. Everyone's covering it. It's so weird. It's so weird to see Sky News, RT News, BBC, Forbes. Yeah, like any like real news outlet. And I don't mean to be derogatory towards the wrestling media because obviously that's not my intent. But I mean, you know what I mean. Like people know about this compared to wrestling, where it's very insular sometimes. It's the wildest story, and I'll be honest with you, I know I expected a WrestleMania surprise, obviously tonight. I didn't expect this, Dave.
Yeah, I gotta ask you a question that just popped into my mind.
Sure.
So you and I are both, huge fans of like certain like science fiction and whatnot.
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah.
Bought Star Wars.
Yeah.
For less than half of what WWE was worth.
Oh,
Did you think you lived in that world? Did you think that WWE was worth double Star Wars?
I did, yeah. And I'll tell you why. Star Wars has been a dead brand. WWE, like it or not, folks.
Not when Disney bought it. It wasn't. They hadn't put the sequels out yet. No, and I don't care what anybody says. The prequels, if you were born then, which is what it was made for, they were amazing.
They were. They still are. Third one's one of the best Star Wars movies, the whole lot. But anyway,
yeah. Sorry.
What the point that I'm making is, WWE is still like it. The past couple of years, it's made more money than it ever has. Ever.
Oh yes.
In any period, it's obscenely successful. Despite itself, it is
because of itself, I would even say. Because this is something that was left out when we were talking about Roman earlier, is why would you kill the best storyline that this company has put together in a decade and a half? People are still tuning in for it. People are still paying for the merch. People are still paying for tickets because they want to see Roman lose. Until that happens, you don't stop it.
No,
there's no reason to. But you're making money hand over fist.
But to put that, and that's literally the case. Like, I mean, to put it into context, obviously on this show we look back to the Attitude Era and other eras that people are like, oh, it was so much better then. And look, objectively, it kind of was, but they weren't making the kind of money that WWE are making now. They're making chump change compared to what WWE are making now.
Do you have the stats on the gate? It was like 21.6 million or something like that for the weekend. I don't
have numbers, but I mean, even looking at that doesn't shock me. But even look at the commercialization of it, where they had like different branding and stuff, they probably made a couple of million just by having some cinnamon crunch out there.
I mean, that's why you do it.
That's why you do it. So WWE have positioned themselves to wrap this up. WWE put themselves in a position where they were a high value commodity, and that's what you want to do. Like if you're ever looking at the market and you see a business doing this, trying to make themselves as profitable as possible, it's because they want to be bought. You know, startups do it all the time. Well, they used to before the market, did what it's doing now. But you look at any major startup that was bought, anytime really.
Watch the show Silicon Valley, and
exactly. Yeah. But I mean, you can also see it in real life. If you just see any major startup that's bought by Google or Amazon, they behave like this. Or any company that gets into trouble, they will downsize, stream, and then max out profitability, try to get the stock up, and then be bought. It's business 101. But again, I know that academically. I'm looking at the screen that says Ultimate Fighting Championship owner and WWE combining. That is a weird sentence to see.
Especially with Vince hating it, man.
Oh, man.
I mean, so we remember
he loves money
because
we
old,
know Vince loves money.
Exactly. So. I mean, the guy's 76, I think, 76 or so years old. He just made, well, let's see, he owns 51% of $9.3 billion. So a ton of money.
Yeah. More money than you could even know what to do with. Like,
he could probably spend $1 million like every 12 hours for the rest of his life and still not run out of money. That's probably even being conservative, honestly.
It's insane. Like, I mean, so real quick though, just to really finish this before we go into WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Do you think Vince will stick around? Or do you think he'd just be like, look, I'm leaving? Like,
I thought that was odd. I thought that was odd that they said he was going to be the executive chairman. I think that might be a temporary transitionary position to make the shareholders confident, just like having Roman champion can be. But ultimately, I would hope to see either Nick Khan, the only talented Khan in professional wrestling.
I agree.
Or honestly, Triple H get pushed into that position. I think it would make sense.
Yeah.
Or even have Stephanie come back and do some, women's empowerment for a fighting company. That'd be big for Endeavor.
Yeah.
If they wanted to go with that type of thing. So I'm excited for where the future takes us. I don't know. And so many people are asking me all these questions all day. So what's going to happen? What's this going to look like? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's nobody that I can call that knows. They don't know either.
No.
The wrestlers don't know. The workers don't know. Everybody's just going, well, this is going to be maybe different, maybe exactly the same.
Because it is in wrestling. That's why. That's why we don't know.
Well, okay. So like, Okay, I have two questions, but they're in totally different directions. So, Dara, I'm going to let you make the choice.
Sure.
Make you think or like fun and whimsical?
Okay, we'll go thinking first and then fun and then whimsical.
And then fun and then whimsical. Okay, fair enough. So, was there anybody, considering that it is Vince McMahon's quote unquote last WrestleMania, or it's the last freely booked Vince McMahon family WrestleMania?
Yeah.
You had 2 nights. I watched 8 hours of programming. God bless them. Is there anything that surprised you? Is there somebody that you would have expected to come back to pay respect to the fact that you guys are never going to have the freedom to put on whatever show you want ever again for the rest of your lives in wrestling?
That's why I think this was very last minute. I think this was like a couple of days. Genuinely.
You think Endeavor really jumped in and was like, look, Vince, you said you wanted $9 billion. We'll go, $300 million over that because Disney's maybe offering 8 and Amazon's offering 8.5. Yeah, I could see something like that.
Yeah, no, I genuinely think that's what happened. I mean,
because why wouldn't Taker be there? Why wouldn't Hogan be there?
Why wouldn't Austin be there?
Why wouldn't Austin? I mean, all these people. Why wouldn't Vince be on the show? Like, honestly, like, I mean, I know he was last year, and he probably wants that to be how he goes out. And to be fair, that was a good way too, because there was no controversy involved in it, to our minds at least.
No, man, but I mean, look, genuinely,
Why wasn't Steph out
there?
No,
but genuinely,
it seemed like Shane.
But think about
Shane was the rush. It seemed like Shane was, hey, this is our last one. Man, you were always the supporter of like the fight business. Like, get out there and try and have a match. And
see, I don't even think there was that level of preparation. I think they had their show. And they didn't change it aside from where he had to, with Shane blowing his knee out, which was obviously hilarious, but also not at the same time. You kind of feel bad for the guy.
Hey,
I think
like father, like son, like father, like son.
I think the only change that was made was Cody.
I disagree.
No,
I disagree.
I mean,
he was always going to lose.
I don't. It didn't make any sense for him to win.
Correct.
I agree.
Stay right there. That's all you need. That's all you need.
But
like you could have had Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. You could have done anything. You could have anything that the fans cared about. Listen, I get it. I know that Cody Rhodes is over. Yes, guys, we transitioned to Mania. I know that Cody Rhodes is over. My little brother is obsessed with Cody Rhodes. He had a talent show, and he used him as his entrance music. He sends me TikToks every time the crowd goes, whoa. Look, I get it. Cody is the ultimate babyface in WWE right now. But, ladies and gentlemen, I have a newsflash that a lot of people don't want to hear. At the end of the day, when you strip away the stuff that makes you cry when he comes to the ring, when you strip away this story that he clouds himself in, it's Cody Rhodes. What are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. I genuinely don't get it. I mean, he should have been Stardust. I genuinely do not get the Cody Rhodes thing. I really don't. But what I'm saying to you is, before you finish that point, before we go to WrestleMania, what I was saying was, if you look at the ending is what gives me pause. It wasn't booked well. The whole match was actually quite good. We'll get to it. WrestleMania in general, when it really started cooking, I was not enthused at all by WrestleMania, but the ending of it was a mess. And to me, that looks like they booked that a couple of hours beforehand and didn't really have time to practice it. It was too smudgy. It was the smell of TNA off. It was something terrible.
It was Cody Rhodes booking. It was Cody Rhodes saying this would be cool. Listen, I'm just going to say it. I need to say it now before we go further.
Go on.
I'm sorry. I'm a wrestling fan. Wrestling is not the fight game. I've been watching this type of product for so many years that there are blatant things that you can do as a wrestler that's going to kill it because it's going to give away the ending to me. I have never, and somebody can send me a clip and I'll go, great. Okay, you proved it. It happened at a pay-per-view once. And thank you. I look forward to your emails. But I have never in my recent memory seen a wrestler who was going to win the biggest championship in the WWE acknowledge his family and child before getting into the ring. That is something you do to celebrate. And the second Cody picked his daughter up, and that got me in the feels. She's about my daughter's age. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine performing in front of her. I went, oh, I'm right. He's going to lose. You do not do that. Like, so these are my issues with Cody. Is that you don't telegraph to me that kind of stuff, man. Yeah. Like, let me live in that world.
Michael Cole used to do it all the time, where he'd be like, "Oh, he's going to do it," and then like 2 seconds later, Michael Cole would do it for years.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, man. Either way, I'm glad he didn't win. I guess we'll move there.
Yeah.
Main event the main event of night 2 was Cody versus Roman. Very good match. Roman managed to get the win with a smudge ending. Now, look, I will admit something that I didn't think I was going to admit on air. While I was happy that Cody didn't win, I think he should have come out with Stardust, and then I would have been more on board. I watched the first half of the match with the commentary off because I hate Cody Rhodes. Passionately, his music and everything about him, just I can't stomach it.
How about that neck tattoo? Big fan?
Oh, stop! Why are you doing this to me, Dave? It's the worst tattoo ever.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. It's like, please just remove it, man.
Tell me how you never want to get a job in any other profession.
Literally. No, you know what it looks like? I said this on the show last week. It looks like, remember the old WWF Warzone tattoos on the Create Wrestler? And that's what it looks like. It's like you're badly putting it on.
What if he, as a child, actually played in the game, put that on his character? It's like, one day, this is going to be real.
This is kind of what I'm going to do.
Mattel's going to print this on a figure.
Oh my God, it's so bad. I mean, I can't believe no one said it to him. Go, listen, man, you need to get rid of that. It's just, it looks terrible. But anyway, when he lost, I was like, oh, thank God. But then I was also kind of disappointed, if that made sense. It was anticlimactic. It really was. In a sense, there was no feel good. But then again, WrestleMania always doesn't have that feel good moment.
No, night one was your feel good night.
Yeah.
You want a happy WrestleMania? Watch night one.
But then you go back and you look at all it was telegraphed from the moment. And then once I saw the Smoz finish, I was like, that was changed.
Mm-hmm.
That was changed. So it would not shock me. And again, I'm going on record again. While I can see why you believe what you do, Dave, and it's more than likely you could be right. The ending of it suggests that they changed something significant, because that was a sloppy ending to a very good match. And it's more like, okay, what's the story you're trying to tell here? Why are you doing this if you want them to be established as a clean top dog competitor? To just have them need all this interference, it's very WWE. It's very bad WWE. And
so to me, it was
TNA.
good WWE though, because you need listen. Because man, this is why it's tough, right? And you know what?
It is.
This is why it's a good match.
Yeah, I know.
Making us think about it. So at the very least, I think Dara and I could both look at each other if we were not an ocean apart and say, bro, at the very least, this was a C match.
Yeah.
We'll both. I'm gonna go higher. Maybe he goes lower. Maybe he goes higher. But at the very least, it was an average match. So that's where we're starting. Which, well done, gentlemen. But I mean, could you imagine how the dynamic would have? Can you imagine this match had the Bloodline not gotten involved after 2 years of that storyline, after knowing the kind of pop and interaction and emotion that Sami Zayn? Could you imagine Sami Zayn not being involved in the main event in some way? It had to happen.
It did, yeah.
And that's what tears me with this, because again, it is such a great storyline. It's going to have these shenanigans, but at the same time, I wasn't shocked by them like maybe you were, not because Roman does them just a lot, but because I've seen Cody Rhodes wrestle in this time he says he was away. He uses this kind of stuff all the time. He uses interference out the wazoo. He uses legends or references to the past to get the emotion going. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying these are tropes of Cody Rhodes. And at the end of the day, another unfortunate trope of Cody Rhodes is he can only wrestle as good as Cody Rhodes. And we have somehow grown up and lived in a world where Roman Reigns is a better sports entertainer than Cody Rhodes is, no matter how over they want to book Cody Rhodes. So it was great to see. And another point I want to clarify too here is people seem to have this concept that my stance is just, well, Roman was going to win at WrestleMania because the company was going to sell. No, my stance is that Roman was going to be the champion until the company sells, even if that meant an entire another calendar year. And I have the receipts for that as well. So I think you put those two things together, and WWE put on a perfect match that had the fans invested. Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle, Sami Zayn in Montreal, and followed up with Cody Rhodes tonight. This is how you book main events, and they're raking in the money, and I'm so happy for the way that WWE is being booked. Triple H, please stay where you are. I'm in it as long as you are.
Yeah, and look, I think what you said is correct. I don't think the moving parts were changed. I do think the interference was probably planned, and maybe Cody gets the win with the help of Sami Zayn and stuff like that. I just don't see him winning. That is fair, right? And I never wanted that to happen. I would have thrown up. Like the minute he used the pedigree, I did throw up my mouth a little bit.
So it's Seth Rollins.
I don't know. Cody should be nowhere near the main event. I want to see him packed up and back to AEW, or even back to what's the one that Billy Corgan owns.
Oh,
the NWA. It's like, yeah, I just don't buy him as a main event. I don't buy him as anything other than
Oh,
Stardust.
yeah. Can we make a trade? Like, can we get Kenny Omega?
Yeah,
Like, that'd be cool. Like,
so
of
much better.
all the people that could have defected from, it had to be the person that they just want to pay so that they can use your father's image and a lot of stuff. Like, let's be real about what's happening here.
Yeah, look, I'm just.
And this is
I
no
don't know.
disrespect. Like, I met Ted DiBiase Jr. I think he's awesome. Cody Rhodes is such a better professional wrestler than I could ever dream to be. No pun intended. But yeah, next match, please.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so some stats real quick. WrestleMania 39 was the largest audience in WrestleMania history. Record 20 million at the sponsorship revenue. Record gate 21 million. Merchandise sales up 20%. And most social media WrestleMania ever with 500 million plus views. So that's how you make a $20 billion company with stats like that. It's crazy. Fair play WWE for that, you know. And if people are upset by it, I mean, that works. You know, it just works. I have to give a quick shout out, or more so, the Snoop Dogg thing. It didn't really do anything for me.
I loved it even before the Shane McMahon thing.
No,
I just want to shout out that the way he was acting in the ring, the way that he was reacting, even on night one when McAfee came out, was perfection, and we were all laughing at Snoop Dogg at my watch party. So I don't want to take any respect away from him. That's fair.
That's fair. Look, it's not my kind of music. I don't really, you know, whatever. But I do have to say, the fact.
Sasha Banks.
No, well, not. The fact that he was able to call an audible like that when Shane blew his knees out was actually rather impressive. I mean, what I would have done personally is Bobby Lashley was just hanging out backstage. Bring out Bobby Lashley to have a match with The Miz, but the fact that he was able to
Bray Wyatt. Where was Bray Wyatt? I honestly
injured,
thought
apparently he's injured.
I honestly thought that Shane McMahon was out there to bring somebody else out anyway.
That's what I thought as well, yeah.
So, like, even from the get-go of it, I was like, okay, Shane McMahon, but, like, honestly, Shane McMahon can't wrestle as good of a match as we saw last night. So who is it they're really bringing out?
Yeah.
So that's why the injury to a lot of people wasn't, wait, is he injured or not? He was, by the way.
Yeah, he was.
Well soon.
No, he actually was. I mean,
like,
I thought it was a bit. I thought it was a bit
good.
as well. No, it's real bad.
but my point is that watching it, you didn't actually think it was necessarily off unless you have the eye. Like, it just was like, oh, okay, like, so who are they bringing out? Like, is it Bray Wyatt? Is it going to be somebody like? Oh, okay, no, okay,
nobody.
You literally hear the I'm not sure what her name is, but the referee literally yells out to Snoop Dogg, "People's elbow," and like he goes, "It's amazing."
I have to say though, the fact that he, because I mean, celebrities are usually a mixed bag. It's usually terrible, and very rarely do you get a Bad Bunny or a Logan Paul or whatever.
Right.
But the fact that he was like, "All right, I'm just gonna do a match," it was like, fair play, Snoop Dogg. You got a WrestleMania win out of it. I mean, that belt for some reason you're carrying around. At least now you have a win to go with. So I mean, fair play to him. And The Miz, it's like
the Dogfather is so. And can we talk about the fact that Snoop Dogg's punches at double his age are so much better than Shane McMahon's?
Shane can just not throw a punch to save his life.
Shane has the worst punches in the history of the world, and I mean, nobody disagrees.
No, they're terrible. The Brock Lesnar match to start off the night, he defeated Osmos.
It was good. It was fine.
It was alright.
It was fine. What do you expect it to be? That's what it was. It was good.
I wasn't shocked at all, really, that one, it opened, and two, how quick it was. It was like, mercifully, it was over quick. Brock, he probably beat the traffic. I did skip some matches. Honestly, I
didn't skip it. Just wait. Can we start? Should we start night one? Should we not?
Yeah. We'll start night one. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly does out. So I did skip some matches. So when we're going through it, I don't really have much.
Okay, we'll just read them out because I didn't skip matches because it's WrestleMania. You skip matches. Who are?
Yeah, because I just there's some I just can't. I'll go into more detail in a bit. Austin Theory versus John Cena. Austin Theory retained the United States Championship against Cena in what was a surprisingly good match. And I do think it's probably Cena's last match because you go out on your back. Mm-hmm. and Cena really put Austin Theory over.
He
really did.
I thought he made him look really, really good in this match. I liked the whole that John Cena was playing the I'm a rusty old wrestler that's just trying to keep up with this young talent. I thought that was a different John Cena. At first, I was like, wait, is John slow? And I was like, oh, wait, no, he's just really good. Like sometimes you forget that about Cena. Maybe he's doesn't have the largest moveset, but the stuff he does do, he's really good at.
He was on for the night, and I'd say it was. I got shades of Shawn Michaels off him. Not for his talent, but just old Shawn Michaels.
Energy-wise.
Yeah, the way he was kind of working, it was like, wow, okay, you're wrestling this the way Shawn Michaels would just before he retired. So I wouldn't be shocked if this is the last John Cena match, per se, and next year it's Cena in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he gave kind of a goodbye wave during the match, if I remember correctly. It was good, though.
It was good, yeah. I skipped the next match because I had no interest. I had no interest in anyone.
How'd you skip this match?
Because I stopped watching it and went off with this one.
I've watched it 3 times.
No, I don't like the Street Profits. I think they're the lamest team in the world.
Montez Ford is.
No, I think they're the lamest team in the world.
Elimination Chamber pulled that off. Braun Strowman is phenomenal. Just stopping your tracks right now. I'm not even going to let you.
No. The Viking Raider, all of it. I hated all
Otis of it. Otis is amazing. Chad Gable, can we talk about that rolling German suplex that he did to a bridge?
Chad Gable's pretty good.
That was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. Otis always makes the ladies laugh, and man, was he sweaty. And shout out the commentary for this match. Titus O'Neil, you were hilarious.
That's when I also hit the mute button as well, because Titus O'Neil drives me mad. So it started off bad and just.
How do I hate your mute button? Where is it? Where's my mute button? So anyway, so there were things happening in this match that should not have happened. The Viking Raiders, we all know from their time in NXT, can absolutely fly around the ring, and boy, did they ever. But Ricochet. First of all, speaking of Shawn Michaels, can we talk about overselling moves? I love you, sir, but what do you do on a daily basis? Please don't hurt yourself selling with all these bounces that you do. He did a springboard up to a springboard up to a top rope balance shooting star press to the outside, where he stopped his body's momentum before he crashed into the table but still took out all the competitors. That was simply absurd to watch. There was a Tower of Doom where he basically went up and gave a pile driver as the tower was going down instead of just into the regular suplex. That looked amazing as well. And yeah, I mean, back in the ring, he then went for a shooting star, which he was caught on the knees, and then Ford hits a frog splash for the win. I mean, it was a fun match. The crowd was super into it, and that's why I took 2 minutes to talk about it and not let Dara throw it to the side.
I was not happy. I was happy when it was over.
You didn't watch the highlights. You clearly didn't watch the highlights from it, because Ricochet stood out so much in that match. You have to be happy for him, at least.
Yeah, I was. Fair enough. Seth freaking Rollins defeated Logan Paul in a singles match in about 17 minutes. To be honest, look, KSI showed up. Honest to God, and I'm not the only one that thought this. I thought that was K-Quick, aka Ron Truth. I genuinely thought, for some reason, Ron Truth had shown up. I don't know why KSI was here. I know they're mates. Him and Logan Paul are mates, but
they own Prime. They own the Prime Energy drink together.
I don't know what that is.
Sure you do. That's the costume he was literally dressed in, you fool.
No, I'm not American. I don't know these things.
I mean, you're not.
We don't have that here. We don't have it here.
It was on your television, sir. There's a man dressed as a bottle.
Yeah, there's also a man dressed as a cereal, which we don't have either.
You don't have Cinnamon Toast Crunch in Ireland?
No.
I would just like to thank my ancestors for 389 years ago making the brave journey across the sea so that one day I could wake up and eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
With Prime, apparently.
With Prime.
You know what Prime is here? Prime is what the Amazon subscription service.
Yeah, so. I pay for that too. But when Jeff Bezos isn't controlling my life, I do sometimes indulge in the energy drink. I don't recommend the blue flavor, but the rest are pretty actually decent.
So for all the listeners in the Blanchetown area, which is part of Ireland, we have no idea what you're talking about, but fair enough. Fair enough.
Do you guys have almond milk over in Ireland? Is that a thing?
Yes, we do. We do.
Yeah. What about oat milk? I'm a big
Yeah,
oat milk fan.
we have regular milks, Dave. We just don't have random.
Listen, man, I don't know how milks work over
Oh,
there.
that's fair. That's fair. But look, this
I mean,
match
if you're not eating cinnamon toast crunch, I'm assuming there's something up with your milk. That's clearly the assumption.
that's clearly the problem. Okay.
Welcome
Look,
up.
this match is pretty good. Logan Paul again. I mean, as much as I don't like the guy as a human, I have to hand it to him. He is one of the best in-ring talents WWE has, and it's horrible to admit that, but it's true. And he's in there with Seth Rollins, who just works so well with him that there was no way this match was not going to be good. It's just it's funny to be like, and it's great that they actually like leaned into it and made Logan Paul literally just be like, here, just go out and make everyone hate you, because everyone already does. And he goes out and just says it, and you're like, wow, okay, you're a legitimate heel purely just by being you. So he is like the most attitude era guy ever, because he's just being himself. The KSI thing was really lame. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wish it was R-Truth, because it would have made more sense. But yeah, look, Seth Rollins has a win. I'm glad he won, because he's kind of, his WrestleMania wins are not really, except for the big one. I think he's on quite a losing streak, right? I think he's like 4-3 or something at WrestleMania.
About that recently,
yeah, it's not great. Like,
I have a question about the entrance.
Sure.
So obviously, I don't know why I say obviously, but to me, Seth Rollins' entrance, amazing. The conductor, I just thought the whole thing was very, very well done. Cool concept, and the outfit that he was wearing. The shout out to Mr. Perfect. I thought all that was absolutely fantastic, and way over the top, and exactly what I want out of WrestleMania. All that said, Logan Paul's entrance, man, I had an issue with it, and it wasn't his banter or anything like that. I thought that was really amusing and exactly what I would do if I was in his position. And I know that in concerts they do it all the time now, and it's really not a big deal. But there's something about somebody coming to the ring suspended at a height that if they fall isn't safe. There's a reason that Shawn Michaels clip is so iconic, and it's not because he was the only person doing that. It was just because that was one of the last times that we got to see something like that.
Yeah, because when it happened, a couple of years later on, and that's why Owen Hart died.
It's that, and that is, of course, what I'm referencing is Owen Hart's death. So that's and the younger fans not even going to probably think about that, and they loved it. Trust me, they loved it. They were sitting next to me. But for me, is this just a product of having watched wrestling for so long? That's what I was thinking in my head. The entire entrance. I was just thinking.
I was the same.
Is this okay with
Owen
Hart? That's all I was thinking. And that.
No, I'm the same.
Stop.
I think it's.
And I'll say it openly. I love Logan Paul. So this is not a knock on him or anything Dara said. I agree with Dara 100%. But as far as the entrance itself, like, it brought up emotions I didn't expect it to bring up.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was exactly the same. I was just, the whole time I'm like, oh no. Now, fair enough. Owen's Hart death was like, what, 22 years ago?
Yeah,
but still, it's like, no, just, how do you, but then again, like, the majority of fans watching probably didn't even think about that.
Most of the fans aren't 25 years old when it happened. That's how old you'd have to be to even have been born.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They see this when they go to the concerts all the time for their favorite bands,
And obviously, like, the difference there, the Owen Hart thing was set up so he could, clip out and stuff like that. So
we know that.
Yeah, they were going to do it now. I'm pretty sure it was, triple and, check beyond all what was even, the top standard back then. It's been so long. So, but man, it's weird they said it, because I was literally the exact same when that happened. I was just like, wow, okay. This is weird. But yeah, I guess that's what they wanted to do, so they did it. Trish Stratus, Lita, Becky Lynch defeated Damage Control in a 6-woman tag team match. Very, very good match. I was very happy for Trish and Lita. Becky looked amazing, so it was good. And I don't mean that in like a physical sense. I mean, like, she actually was really, really good in the ring. And so was Lita, actually. surprisingly well. Like Trish Stratus looked exactly like she did in WrestleMania 2000.
It's so ridiculous. Like
So
Trish
crazy.
Stratus
So
is.
crazy.
I mean, for those that don't know, she trains in NXT. But goodness gracious, how can you still be that up to snuff? I was very impressed.
Incredible. It was a phenomenal performance, and I mean, if that's the last time we see them in the ring, they have nothing to prove to anybody. I know, obviously, Lita and Becky still have the belts, but if this is their last WrestleMania, wow, what a WrestleMania to go out on. Rey Mysterio defeated Dominic Mysterio by pinfall. The entrance of this is, you know what? Okay, so I wasn't really into WrestleMania really until this match, and I didn't think this one would get me. When Dom came out with the mask on, we were talking about this in our chat. You, me, and Martin. I was like, whoa, okay, this is WrestleMania. Also, if Dominic ever does get the mask, keep that mask on. He looks really legit with it. It's
He
so
looks
bizarre.
so good.
It's
So
unbelievable.
good.
It's like that mask really just pulls it all together. You actually look like Rey Mysterio's son, you know?
Because
it
it's got
was
the Eddie Guerrero hair with the Rey Mysterio mask. It's just fantastic.
So cool. I mean, like, this made Dominic Mysterio a superstar, like an actual megastar. He looked awesome in this match, in this performance. The finish was great, with Mysterio getting the feel-good win. I think this is probably Mysterio's last run. Obviously, he's in the Hall of Fame. This is probably his last run. I think he's done very soon. But when Dominic now, obviously, I think they went to Triple H route where they have to make him a despicable heel because people were going to boo him anyway. But now when he does become a face and he puts the mask on, he could actually legitimately probably be one of the biggest stars of the company.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I never saw it until last night, or 2 nights ago, where I was like, wow, okay, you are, you deserve to be there.
It might have been Graves on commentary, probably. By the way, commentary. I know there's haters out there, but specifically, when you're talking about Corey Graves and Michael Cole, that's just the best tag booth that WWE has right now as far as commentators go. And Michael Cole has been great for a very long time, and I really just don't care what other people say. But Corey Graves did have like some really great lines, especially during that match. But it makes you think about like what it would be like if you were in Rey Mysterio's shoes. Like, you know, he started with his wife when he started wrestling. Sorry, Mike. He started with and then up to his last match, them having a child, like then against him. Like you said, like I think it's absolutely turned Dom into a star, and I think Ray put absolutely everything that he could into that focus of I'm going to make him look as good as humanly possible with the stuff that I can do. Because a funny analogy to this, if you will, would be I had recently helped out with a juggling performance, and my main goal was just to make the other person look as good as I am, you know, regardless of if there's a 10,000 hour difference in skill level, let's say. And so Ray was kind of doing that same thing with Dom in the ring, and Corey Graves had a line that I was alluding to that was essentially, you think Dom is good now, just wait 20 years from now, just like Rey Mysterio 20 years from then, like how good Dom will be. Like, give him time. He's young and inexperienced. No, so I'm excited.
This is not even Rey Mysterio's, like to draw a parallel. This isn't even Rey Mysterio's like WCW phase yet. Dom is like when Rey Mysterio was or not even before. This is when he's like in Mexico.
Right.
You know, it's like Dom is literally just starting out and he's already that good. So give him 10 years, 20 years. I mean, hopefully his knees don't completely collapse, but you know, he has everything to really just. And I mean, when he puts that mask on, that's when you're gonna have just. I mean, I'm totally sold. And I was not a Dominic Mysterio fan at all. I was like, okay, this guy's kind of lame, but it all kind of comes together, and that is kind of the magic of WrestleMania, you know. We are gonna have to take a break, Dave, unfortunately. For the FM listeners, guys, if you're listening on Phoenix 92.5 FM, thank you so much. You get more of this. We're going to go over to Nerd to Know Media, True Penny Channel, and finish out talking about WrestleMania 39. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're here every Tuesday, and of course over on Nerd to Know Media and the WrestlingRewind.com. Dave shows up sometimes. He is a very busy man. We're very happy to have him. So if you want to hear the rest of Dave, you can go over and check out the rest of the show, or Dave, which social media? Are you still fighting with Twitter, or are you back on Instagram, or what's the
No,
story?
no, I am back. Actually, Wrestlemania is the first time I was back on Twitter in a while because I only go on there to complain about stuff. Find me at the Dave Stevens on either Instagram or Twitter, and yeah, it'll be great. We'll be friends. It'll be such a great time. I'm gonna be on my mic. That's hilarious background sound.
I know, right? It's just, it is what it is. But yeah, so we'll be back after this short break here on Phoenix 92. Sorry. So we'll be back after this short break here on the Wrestling Rewind. Of course, thank you for checking us out the show here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. Go over to Network Media, wrestlingrewind.com. We'll talk to you after this short break and next week here on Phoenix 92.5 FM.
You have nothing else to do on a Saturday? Do you like nerd things? Now check out Nerd to Know Basis here on Phoenix 92.5 FM, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then head over to nerdtoknowmedia.com for all of our shows as part of the Nerd to Know Media radio network.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.
Alright folks, and we're back here on the wrestlingrewind.com covering WrestleMania 39. Thank you so much for sticking with us. This is your first show. That's weird. Hope you enjoy the show, and there'll be more, because I mean, you're sticking around.
Sorry you tuned in.
Yeah, sorry for wasting your time. But of course, if you want more of this content, you can go over to wrestlingrewind.com, Nerd to Know Media, and the True Page channel, where we have 148 shows, Dave. Crazy. Getting up there to the 150, and you know, who knows what we'll be covering, because I never thought I'd be doing this show well into 2023, and never mind watching over WWE being sold. So that's insane. Before the break, we covered all the way up to Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair with the singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. They really, really, really like getting that belt off Charlotte Flair, man. They love giving it to her, and then taking it away. And don't get me wrong, I hate seeing Charlotte Flair. I really do. I never want to see her again. I was happy to see Rhea Ripley get her win. However,
can you put it in words? Because I can't. Because I honestly just seem like, oh, like you're some bigot that hates her or something when I try and explain. Like, I just don't enjoy watching Charlotte Flair. Yeah.
Oh,
like
hold on.
Can you
like her
explain?
as well, or do you hate her as well?
I absolutely despise her, but I don't know how to put it into words. I don't know how to explain it.
I've not met one person. Sorry for cutting across you again. I've not met one person that actually likes her. Everyone just hates her. Okay, I'll try put it into words, right? I didn't like Ric Flair. Right? I didn't like Ric Flair. So I don't have any attachment.
What a cheap out. What a cop. What a cop out of this answer.
No.
I didn't like her dad, so I don't like her.
No.
Literally zero of the rest of the people that feel the way I do.
I've only started my answer, so I'll finish, right? And then kind of, you can see if it's still a cheap out. I didn't like her dad, right? And a lot of her gimmick is just her dad again, right? Her in-ring stuff is okay. She's starting to look more and more like Cher, which is very off-putting. Like, genuinely, it's just weird. Every time she comes out, she just looks more and more like Cher. Her character on her own is non-existent, and out of the 4 horsewomen, she's the weakest link. I don't see anything other than her dad is Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't think that's enough. It wasn't enough for David Flair in WCW. It wasn't enough for anyone. It wasn't even enough for Jeff Jarrett when he tried to just steal the Nature Boy gimmick in WCW. He had to go and make his own.
Now, all this said, though, let me give, because we'll do the compliment sandwich so people don't think I hate people, because I do like wrestling. Like, Charlotte Flair is absolutely amazingly flexible. The way that she can sell moves, the way that she can make moves have an extra jump flair, to them is really, really cool. And it's definitely helped elevate her character. But I did notice this WrestleMania, and it's such a nerdy WrestleMania critic thing to notice, I guess. But when she came off the top rope to the outside, the fact that it was just a moonsault and not a twisting moonsault, I was like, oh, is she getting older? Is she starting to worry more about her body and such? Which, granted, she is and all that, and she should be. Nothing wrong with that. But that's not what you want to see in your superheroes, and that's always been her kind of gimmick. And to Dara's point, I feel the same way. It's very much we want you to beat Ric Flair's record of 16 championships, and you've had 14, so we got to take the belt off you to get the belt back on you, to get it back off you, to get it back on you, to get it back off you. It's going to happen 3 more times, ladies and gentlemen.
And it will. It absolutely will.
So it 100% will happen.
It cheapens Rhea's win, which is horrible.
Yeah, but Rhea deserves it. And one thing I like about Triple H is that he did say, I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but it was something about how Rhea Ripley and Roman Reigns are just different, essentially. Let's just say built different, and that wasn't Triple H's words, but that those are his champions, and he was going to stick with them, and he did. So even if you're reading the Triple H tea leaves, this makes sense. So I don't necessarily think it cheapens Rhea, but I totally agree with you that it does cheapen every time Charlotte wins, because it's like, you're winning because they want to have you surpass what your dad did. And for me, that cheapens your whole character. And it takes away from what you're doing in the ring, which, by the way, you're extremely talented. It's just not playing well to the audience.
I don't think
that's
so.
Happened.
I don't think she's extremely talented. I'm sorry. I disagree with you. Like, she's flexible. Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's I know loads of people who are flexible.
Okay. So almost Sasha Banks. So like Sasha Banks is better. If I have to if I think of a wrestler that I think of who's the most flexible seller that they have, I always think Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Even though she's not with the company. So like Charlotte's definitely not completely there, but plus she doesn't have that character or attitude. It's just here I am. And when Seth Rollins wears more of a robe better than you do, then I think you have a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally it. It's like, oh, here I am. It's like, okay.
I didn't know she was champion until it was WrestleMania season. I was like, oh, yeah, of course she is.
Yeah. And I mean, that's
turn in next year when I guarantee you Charlotte Flair defends the women's championship or fights for it. Like, it will happen.
And wins. Oh, no, it absolutely will. It's like, you can count on 4 things in the world: death, taxes, or 3 things in the world: death, taxes, and Charlotte Flair either winning or losing a belt at WrestleMania. Which is, I don't know. I mean, yeah, she's getting paid, probably happy to have the win and showing up and hanging out with everybody. But I'm also like, why are you doing this? Nobody wants you here. It's just
like, who are the Charlotte Flair fans? Other than the 60 and 70 years old, because I do know one, and he's about 68 years old.
Okay.
And he's my uncle, and he really liked Ric Flair, and that's honestly the story.
Oh, there you go. I mean,
so that's the fan base.
Okay, that's the fan. All right, well, that makes sense. I mean, maybe that's what Cody's trying to do. He's trying to tap into. He's like, oh, it worked with her. If I just do this, it will work. Oh my God! But no, if I never saw Charlotte Flair again, I'd be very happy. I mean, one time she showed up on WCW and I was raging because I was like, "Why are you here? Go away! Go away!"
Okay. Either or, Brooke Hogan or Charlotte Flair.
Brooke. Any day, Brooke. Because at least she tried to do something different.
A true TNA fan just answered that question.
Any day. I would rather see her every WrestleMania.
She's been there.
I know she has.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Mike the Miz Mike the Miz had this amazing opening segment coming up next with Snoop Dogg, and Dara, was this my moment of the night? Oh my goodness.
I like Pat McAfee. I really do. And I was very happy to see him because, I mean, he was the best WWE commentator they've had in years.
So good.
Just everything about, and even the match he had last year with
Baron, was
yeah.
SummerSlam, or was
sorry, he had a match with Austin and
Theory.
Oh,
and Vince, yeah.
And Vince, yeah.
And Stone Cold came out and drank beers with him.
Yes.
What a crazy night.
But I mean, that was great. And to see him, it was like 3 minutes and he battered the Miz. It was just like, okay, fair enough. Won by pinfall, so he just have another win as victory. But this was a fun little segment, a nice little palate cleanser, so everybody could kind of get over having to see Charlotte Flair for 23 minutes.
Yeah, and you need those matches. But I want to kind of bracket this one real quick because I think this is important for like people to understand, whether it's you don't understand Logan Paul or you don't understand Pat McAfee. This is how I would describe it. Let me use myself as an example. Right. So I am somebody that watches WWE. I don't know who this punter is for the Indianapolis Colts, which is an NFL team which plays football over in America, soccer or football fans over in Europe. Like this isn't somebody that I'm very well aware of. And then he comes in, he's a commentator, and he starts interacting with Adam Cole, who I followed on the Indies. So I thought it was kind of interesting. And I casually followed that. And then last year, he has this WrestleMania match. And then I really go, okay, who is this Pat McAfee fella, if you will? And it just so happens that his show comes on when my daughter naps. So now it's become a daily thing where I watch him on my television, on YouTube. His show streams live, the Pat McAfee show. So now seeing him is like a little something extra. Like, yeah, he spent this time in WWE, and what did that gain him? It gained him fans, absolutely, that now follow him, that were WWE fans. But I absolutely guarantee you it happened the other way as well. I'm sure there were fans of his that watched WWE and are not fans of that product. So it absolutely works. We'll use the anecdote for that example. I am such a fan of his. He cracks me up. He's the person that people will text me about that's my age because he is our age. He's like 34, 35. And it's fun to see the stuff that he does in the ring. And if you kind of can understand that and put yourself in that shoes of, I'd love to be doing that, and he gets to do that, and it's garnered more fans for both his fan base and WWE's, then you can kind of also understand, okay, and this is why Logan Paul works. I think it's the same basket. I just think that Pat McAfee clearly is willing to put in the commentator time, which is just so amazing. So amazing.
Very cool. I agree. And it's funny because like we don't have American football here at all. So when I just heard him on SmackDown, I'm like, oh, I don't want to get sick of my mouth every time I have to listen to WWE commentary. So,
yep.
That was great. Also, his first appearance on SmackDown is the episode of SmackDown that I'm in the Thunderdome for.
Oh, that's right.
And you can see me behind him like several times. So,
but I will say this because people had questioned whether he should have been on commentary or be in a match. And I do think a match was the right decision.
That's
as
fair.
Amazing as it was to have him on commentary for the Royal Rumble. You really can't be that carefree and not that up to date with the product when it comes to WrestleMania. You can't be like, oh, Austin Theory's name's changed a couple times since I was last here. So I think a match made a lot more sense. He did enough, but listen, he did a spot I would never do, ever in my life. Would you ever somersault off the post to the ground? With a 1-inch thick pad over concrete?
No.
What are you talking about, sir? So that's ridiculous to me. But that's McAfee.
So the next match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeated the Usos for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. Now, I like Kevin Owens. I hate Sami Zayn, and I don't really mind the Usos. So I went to bed.
What?
Yeah.
This is the storyline. This is better than Roman's storyline.
No, see, I went to bed for this.
This storyline has made me cry multiple times in the past month. What do you do? You wrestle? Do you even wrestle?
You have 3 minutes to sum this down before we move on. So sell it to the fans because I didn't watch it because I don't care about any of them. Go.
It was awesome.
Okay. Is that all you have to say, or do you want to move on?
I mean, what? I can't go back and forth with you because you didn't watch it. So what am I supposed to do? It was really awesome. If you guys get a chance and you care about the storylines in the company that you're watching and promoting, yeah, definitely check this crap out.
There you go. Sami Zayn needs to go away.
What is wrong with you? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize.
I don't like Sami Zayn. He has stupid music.
Wow, I didn't realize our podcast was sponsored by the government of Saudi Arabia.
No, hold on a second. I have a problem with ska music. If he gets rid of that, I'd be like, okay, cool. Know what he needs? Okay, I'm gonna play with me here, right? He he needs to have a new gimmick, right? Where he wears a leather jacket, grows his hair a little bit, has Motorhead playing him out to the ring, and he has a sledgehammer. And then I'll be happy.
Logan Paul already did the water spit.
No, but hold on. I'm just saying. I'm like, maybe refresh the gimmick there, Sammy, and then I'll, or he could shave his head and like hit beers together and I don't know, use the stunner.
Or what if he put on a mask and wore tights?
Yeah,
he just called himself El Generico.
El Generico. I mean, I'd like the El Generico. I just don't like Sami Zayn. I don't know why. I really don't. I just don't get it. I'm like, he's a great seller. He was great as El Generico, but
I am so sorry, audience. I don't even know how to address this. I don't know how to make the rest of you feel better. I know that emptiness you're feeling inside right now. I feel it too. Dara sometimes gets a little misguided, but we love him. That's and fair. At the end of the day, we just have to fill the world with love. What the hell is wrong with you, sir?
What can I say? It was a choice of staying up late or going to bed, and I wanted to go to bed because I was like, oh, I don't care. So yeah, I knew Triple H wasn't coming out.
That's why Wrestlemania isn't 7 hours long anymore.
Thank God. Oh my God.
That's what happened to AJ versus Nakamura.
Oh man, no way. I love so much that I can like live a normal life with WrestleMania now where I have to stay up till like 6 a.m, but I don't have to stay up till like 8 a.m. and then somehow the 5. It's the worst thing ever. I tell you, when that new company does WrestleMania, it better be 2 nights because this is the only way I can watch the show. It's too long otherwise. I'm
curious about this because WrestleMania is in my basically home city next year, Philadelphia.
I'm thinking about going next year. Yeah, genuinely
do it
because I've never been to WrestleMania. So.
I thought you said you were coming around these parts around March. I assume your trips got changed around.
Yeah, it got changed around obviously because the whole economic thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but that little thing. Yeah.
That little thing. Yeah.
But man, like I'm hoping
like it's on the docket though next year.
I'm very excited to see what happens come. I mean, I guess we'll find out come November. That's when tickets usually go on sale.
Yeah, so. I mean, here's the thing. We'll call it now. I think it should happen. We can do a live rewind.
I think it'd be great. Oh, that'd be fantastic. You know what I am a little down about though, and it's not just because I'm a Cowboys fan. It's at Eagle Stadium. Sure. Because I could have gone to it, but like Dallas, if you actually look at their stadium, they have that scoreboard, TV that goes the length of the football field. Last night at SoFi Stadium, you had that circular screen that I know night 1 didn't work. I understand there are issues. Night 2 it did.
Yeah.
So that no matter where you sit in that stadium, you can see what's happening in the ring. Yeah. That's not going to be the case at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, much like. When they had it in New York when I went, and then they had it also a couple years later, like at MetLife Stadium technically it's in New Jersey, New York. Yeah, so I do worry about the views. It's definitely not going to be in a multi-billion-dollar complex, but it still should be really cool. The advantage of that is you tend to get more pyro in the outdoor complexes because there's not going to be a roof. It's going to be either 40 degrees or 70 degrees. Who knows? It's been both this weekend, so it'll be interesting.
I'd imagine.
I'm so excited.
Since they've already announced it, and they probably have the contracts in place, that changing
2
it,
nights,
it would be very difficult for them to do. So I think it probably
so much money.
Happen. Oh yeah,
dude, so much money they're making over 2 nights. And honestly, as a fan, what do you prefer? Do you prefer when?
Oh my God,
me
too. Yeah.
I didn't think I would. But I'd rather this and everything just be rushed, and I get so tired that I don't care by the half.
That's the thing. You just do not care. You're like, please, please end it. Like,
especially if you decide to watch NXT. Like, let's say not the night before. I used to do this. Like, I would marathon it through. Like, I'd watch the NXT takeover event right before I'd delve into WrestleMania. So you'd watch like 10 hours straight of wrestling, and even for us fanatics, that's a bit much. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. I mean. Look, more wrestling is great, but you just can't burn your crowd out like that, and that's all that happens. Like, we watched WrestleMania 15. It was like 3 hours. Grand, totally fine. When it's 9 hours, you're like, no, No,
what was
no,
that? 30, 31, 32. That was just ridiculous.
Oh god, that nearly finished me wrestling completely. I was like, I never want to watch this again. And it had concert. Oh, it's terrible. So yeah, no, 2 nights is great because they can do stuff and stuff can breathe, and also your main events as well. You
2 main events. That's really cool for
really
Kevin
cool.
Owens to be like, I've been to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
main
and
events.
look,
that's cool for him.
but like and also as well, like the Hall of Fame. It makes more sense being
tugs at the heartstrings.
No, but it makes more sense, kicking off the weekend rather than, having go right. We have NXT and that. No, I think.
Did you like that after SmackDown?
Yeah,
I thought that was a good placement.
I thought it was a good place. Yeah. Now, look, they'd be mad to change it. Genuinely, I think the fact that they're doing a lot of pay-per-views on a Saturday as well makes sense. I would be very upset if it changes, but I don't think it will. Hopefully, it'll stay the same. All right, so night 2, we've already talked about Lesnar. So the next match is the Women's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler defeated Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalia Shotzi, and Chelsea Green, and Sonya Deville by submission. I watched the introduction to this, then I saw Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler take off the gi and their back belt, and I watched something else.
Yeah, you can't really beat that, can you?
Yeah, I was just like, okay, this is gonna be probably pretty bad. Was it all right or was it good?
No, I wasn't a fan of this. If we're going night by night, I thought Lesnar and almost basically held up to what's the first night one? The first match of night one was Cena versus Theory. I thought that one held up fine. But if you're putting the 2 tag matches against each other, 2 tag showcases, this very much paled in comparison to what Ricochet and Braun and Chad and all of them and Montez did in their match.
Yeah, I agree.
It honestly felt like Rousey just showed up at the end and put an armbar on. And I'm a huge Ronda Rousey fan, but I don't know what they're doing with her correctly. Yeah, Triple H just does not understand Ronda Rousey, and Paul Heyman needs to get in there or something. I don't know. Triple H is great, but he doesn't understand Rousey, and it's a waste of the limited amount of time we have left with her, and it's bothering me.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the problem. I mean, once I saw them come out in the gis, I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad. I'm not going to waste my time with this, and I just didn't. I was like, this is not how you book them. It really is.
You know how they say there's people that you pay money for?
Yeah.
I have paid several $100s specifically to go to a Raw, specifically to see Ronda Rousey or to see an AJ Styles. That's very rare that it's to see a specific wrestler and not just, oh, cool, this event is here and I'm going to go see it. But that was, now we're talking almost 6 years ago. Yeah. What are they doing with her character? They're even losing fans like me that paid to see her.
Look, I like Ronda Rousey. I'm a martial artist.
Yeah.
It should just be an easy fit. But I'm like, okay, we get it. You're good at judo. Cool.
Her makeup was great. Face makeup was fantastic. The face makeup was absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah. It's unfortunate because it's like there was nothing there. I really like Shayna Baszler. I think they're completely wasting Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Also the stupid face paint that they have on. It's like, look, if you're gonna do the Road Warriors, do the Road Warriors. Don't kind of half do them.
I just complimented it, and you said yes, and then you just immediately said, "But I hate the face paint."
No. I mean, I hated it because it was like they were trying, and then they didn't go full in. It's like they had their face paint right, and then they're like, okay,
trying but not succeeding.
Yeah, no, they just kind of it didn't influence their character. They're still the same person. It's not like they're like, okay, we're the demon and we're coming out and we're gonna embody this. We'll
get there soon.
Yeah, I know we'll get there, but you know what I mean. It was disjointed is the word I'm looking at. It was disjointed. That's the best way I can sum it up, honestly.
It's Ronda looked, man, how do I say this? Ronda, when she debuted, what was that, 2017? Somebody can fact check me on that. I'm gonna roughly say 2017, 2019, somewhere in there.
Circa 17.
Circa 17, because she had a couple WrestleManias before. Yeah. Let's say 18. Okay,
split it
fine. 2018. Yeah. Feel free to Wikipedia. That's what I'm talking, Derek. So that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
She had a very different look to her that had a very different appeal to fans from the MMA community that followed her over.
Mm.
And now she's going more for the Natalia route,
Which is a bad move. That's a bad move.
And I don't think, listen, be the best wrestler that you can, but there's absolutely nothing wrong about being sexy about it while you do it. The men do it. Are you not seeing what the men are doing? Like that's what cracks me up about this whole conversation. Like they're out there in tights. They're waxing each other. Why not? They're waxing each other. They're applying the body oil. Like, yeah, it's okay if you go out there and you dress like Oscar or whatever. Like sometimes the way that the divas dress can really affect the matches. Just like if you went out and you saw an absolutely ridiculous outfit on one of the guys, either too much or too little clothing, you'd feel the exact same way. And I think that that's something that's hurting Ronda right now. Is I don't think that we're getting that same whimsical, I'm carrying on the legacy of Roddy Piper that we did when she debuted. Yeah, and it need to get back tired. Like that. It does.
It feels tired. It feels very, very tired. And that's the problem. It's like, the face paint is cool if it's in service for something. It's silly if it's not. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you doing the face paint? It's like, okay. In
Unity, I guess. I mean, they won the match, but even I know
they were both wearing these. It's like, if you're doing the martial art thing, that's enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's weird. I mean,
you got to get involved before the end of the match. You can't just not be in the match, show up and try and then, you know, not just immediately tap the person. Like it just,
it comes off as, I think this was probably the weakest match of the whole night.
It was.
And that's saying, like, I include the Snoop Dogg match in that.
And I think that's why we're focusing on it. Well, that was one of the best matches in Mania history. But
absolutely.
But this is one of the issues that comes up when I saw when I was watching the Oscar match later. Is in the back of my mind, I'm thinking back to this match with Rousey, and I'm sorry, but listen, like great match. We'll get to it in a second, but you can't put somebody in an armbar for longer than 3 to 4 seconds, and have me believe as a viewer that hey, that person's arm isn't broken.
Yeah.
Hey, they're dead, kind of, sort of, if you think about it. Like somebody, Roman with Cody in the guillotine. I was like, hey, man, he dead. Yeah. Like, can we get a medic? Like, that's some real stuff. So it is, I don't necessarily, and maybe this is whole the Endeavor type of paranoia starting to come in and creep into my mindset. Like, this is stuff that worries me is I don't enjoy the way the submissions have been going. In WD, I want to see the Oscar lock, because the Oscar lock, at least I believe that the other wrestler can sort of block it. When Ronda Rousey takes your arm, you're dead. Period. So there's the drama around it has to be the crowd buildup. And guess what? The crowd didn't really get behind her when she hit it. And that was sad for me as a fan. So it's not coming from a place of joy that I'm saying this, but we got to start moving in the right direction with the way that we're doing submissions, especially if we're going to be incorporating more crossover with MMA fighters. Because, sorry, Daniel Cormier getting in there, or Conor McGregor, who's already joking about becoming champ, getting in there. Like, we're going to have to work on this stuff for sure. For sure.
And I mean,
because it'll turn off, you know what I'm saying? Like, it will turn off the UFC audience when they see anything other than the figure four. Because at least the figure four hurts, you know? But they see a guillotine, they're going to be furious. A headlock, they're going to be furious.
But look, even Jericho with the Lion's Tamer looked amazing. And that hurt. The crippler crossface, cattle mutilation.
STF have done correctly.
I mean, wrestling and submission holds can be done well. It's just when you're trying to do, like, there's a reason why when Steve Blackman was wrestling, or even the ankle lock with Ken Shamrock, he got it. He wasn't out there doing guillotine jokes, because guess what? They only had 15 seconds and it's lights out. You can't really work those. So
my problem with Lesnar, and I'm glad he stopped using it, but it was my problem with Lesnar using the Kimura lock. Like, your arm's broken.
Your arm's break.
You're done.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, although he did it, it really did look like it hurt a great deal, because it probably did, you know. But yeah, so going from probably one of the worst matches on the entire card to what was one of the best, unsurprising to nobody, Gunther defeated Sheamus and Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, straight off the bat, the fact that this banger thing, you know, where it's like, oh, banger after banger, it's like, okay, that is the American
different generation, man. Different generation.
No,
that's
no.
what they say. That's what they say. Miley was doing it back in 2014 when Bangers, her album, came out, man. It's just, that's what you do.
I hate it, though.
It's not Bangers and Mash. It's no play on like your civilization across the sea.
Well, that would be
just
English. We don't have bangers and mash. You know, we would refer to stuff as bangers as well. Oh, the tune's a banger.
Yeah. So okay? So here's a good question. Like,
it's stupid.
So, what would you call bangers and mash in Ireland? In your Ireland?
Sausages and mashed potatoes.
So you've never said bangers?
No, because I'm not. No, like it's not a thing. Like bangers and mash is an English thing.
No, I mean myself either. I'm just making sure we're in agreement.
Yeah, no, we are in agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool.
Like no,
Okay.
the phrase, the way the phrase is used is in like, oh, that's a banger. Fair enough, but there's something about hearing Michael Cole say it. It just comes off as like, it just makes my skin crawl.
Nothing's as bad as Sup Snoop.
Yeah, it just comes off like that. It's like, what's up, fellow kids? And you're like, oh, please. Martin came up with a good phrase that we need to kind of tell the audience. So Martin was drinking during it, and he was like, you know, he audibly was saying, "Shut up, Cole."
Cole is the best announcer in the history of WWE, and Jim Ross.
No,
guess what?
Not. Go on.
I'm putting Jim Ross in that category.
No, I mean, man, come on. No, Dave. Dave doesn't.
How can you deny what Michael Cole has done?
I'm not.
You know who would deny this? A person who didn't build their own coal mine back in the coal miner days. Because I built a coal mine.
I know you did. I did.
My own little plexiglass window area that I did my homework from. So.
Oh no. I don't dislike him. I actually think he can be quite good. It just, the man is very cringy. I think that's probably the appeal. But at the same time, it's just like, oh, stop. It just, I don't know. It just took away from it from a bit. I did it going forward, and we'll get into it more actually during the Hell in a Cell match. The weird tonal shifts almost break your neck. You know what I mean? Where like it's something deadly serious, and then here we go, and we're back, and we're like, what are you doing? But I'll get to that later. This match was actually incredible. Gunther, absolute star-making performance. Sheamus was honestly a little bit disappointing. Drew McIntyre.
I was so disappointed. I was so pulling for Sheamus in this. Listen, I'm a person who philosophically believes that nobody deserves anything in life. I think you have to earn things. And I think that Sheamus earned this.
Yeah.
I think that he has spent his entire career earning this. And yeah, do I go, oh man, when Gunther like loses this, it's really gonna put that guy over. But man, I'm not the kind of person that wants to say I don't like a match because of the outcome, because at the end of the day, this will go down as one of the best IC title matches in history. But man, I felt sad that Sheamus didn't win this one. I really thought that he should have been the person that went out on top on this one.
The ending was unbelievable.
Oh.
I've never seen a match where the finish is done and then the finisher is done on another person. You know, like as in like power bombed through someone. It's like
and McIntyre didn't even go down. Like McIntyre didn't even react to it. Like that was like, what are you doing, sir?
It's crazy. But no, like as one of the best, just hard hitting match. I mean, all these lads were in absolute bits afterwards. So fair play. And it's weird actually. I was listening to some talk about it, and I think it was Solomonster. Gunther usually wrestled smaller guys or guys who aren't as big as Sheamus and McIntyre. Sheamus is a big dude, like legitimately.
Oh my God, is he ever?
And like,
God, he's 6'4", like 230, 235, 240, absolutely ripped. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, I mean, like when you're standing beside him, you're like, wow, you are huge. But what's interesting about it is I think this is Gunther's first real performance with two WWE monsters. And he held his own, and not only did he hold his own, he had a very good performance with the two of them. So look, as I said, like I think this does what the IC belt is supposed to do, and it elevates everybody. It elevates the belt. So
Yeah.
fair play to all of them, because I mean, this is the kind of match you should be having for the IC Championship.
I agree 100%. Yeah, like you said, elevated the title, elevated the guys involved. Felt bad that Sheamus didn't win. Clash at the Castle was such a good match.
Yeah.
I thought that had earned it from that, but we'll see.
You might get it. You might get it soon. But again, like this,
I'm kind of tired at this point. Like, and this is where fatigue sets in. Like, I've been watching him try for 6 months. Like, and now I need to see new competition for it. Yeah, and that's why I feel bad for Sheamus, because it's time for the next round of people. But nonetheless, forget all that. Because again, I don't think you should dislike a match because who I wanted to win didn't win.
Yeah.
Well done, gentlemen. Gunther, so much respect.
Yeah.
Because you know what the worst move to take in all of professional wrestling is? And Bret Hart will tell you this in his autobiography. It's a chop. It's the worst move ever.
Yeah, I'd
There's
imagine
nothing
so.
fake about it. It just hurts.
Yeah.
You're just literally slapping the crap out of each other. So, good Lord, these guys, man.
Yeah, you can see on their chest.
So much respect. Sheamus had fingernails in him, like fingernail marks in him. Good Lord.
Oh, man. They all definitely earned their paycheck anyway. The next match, I hate Bianca Belair, like genuinely.
Really?
Yeah, I just can't stand her. And I love Asuka. So this match actually upset me because Asuka didn't win, and also Bianca's still the champion. I mean, look, if people are Bianca Belair fan, cool, absolutely. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I think Asuka is a much better face for the women's division on Raw because it's Asuka. It's Asuka. Bianca Belair comes out and spins her hair around, and it's super lame. Asuka comes out and is an absolute queen, and just a killer in the ring. So I didn't hate this match because Asuka didn't win. I hated this match because I felt like I wasted my time. I don't think this match did anything for anyone. But that being said, Bianca is on a great run by all accounts. I'm not a fan, but her run obviously people like. And Asuka came out again looking like an absolute beast. So, 16 minutes, I would have made it a little bit shorter, maybe 10 minutes. I obviously would have booked it differently. But are you a Bianca fan? And sell me on her. Why is she good?
So no.
So no to what? All of what I just said?
No. To whether I'm like a big Bianca fan. Okay. Do I respect her? Sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That goes without saying. But
she's the type of person that I know that if I would just be walking in an alley and this like tiny little girl came up to me, and I use that. That sounds absolutely terrible. This smaller woman comes up to me, I know as soon as I look at her, like, oh, you could kick my ass, and I'm gonna run away.
She's 5'7".
Oh, okay. Well, okay. But you know what I'm saying? Like, still, like, diminutive figure, but holy crap, is she strong? Like, I know that Bianca Belair can kick my ass, is what I'm trying to say. So, like, that scares me. But you know what else scares me? Asuka. Because Asuka can also kick my ass. So here's two women that are fighting against each other that I look at and I go, well, both of them can absolutely destroy me. However, who am I the most afraid of?
Okay.
Who do I genuinely think that I would have the worst chance of being able to like kind of push away and run away from without like, So that's what comes to mind. And what I see is Bianca Belair taking a chance to like skip around and whip her hair, and Asuka grabbing that hand that I attempt to push her away with and breaking it in half.
Yeah. And that's where I'm coming now. I'm like,
I'm going with Asuka every time.
Yeah.
So I genuinely, and I got a lot of texts from people on this one that were rooting for Asuka. So she has a fan base built in, and I don't know how long you can hang on to that. I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura was incredibly popular, but they refused to cash in on that.
Yeah. But the
I don't know if that's a Triple H thing or what. I really don't know, because Triple H made that decision with Nakamura, so he's making the same decisions with Asuka.
Yeah.
But that said, I do want to take a moment, match aside, to shout out to the the leadership girls performance dance troupe that came out with Bianca Belair.
That was
absolutely adorable.
That was lovely,
that was really cool for them, and those are the moments that make WrestleMania a little extra special, I think.
No, that's fair. And I mean, look, if that was the whole point of it, then fair enough. I just really want to see Asuka holding the belts. I mean,
yeah, me too.
All the belts. All the belts.
You want to see her Ultimate Dragon it? 9 belts.
Yeah, why not? Like, she's amazing. And look, the thing about it is, it's like I just don't really see the point in this. Like, obviously, I think she has the longest reign, one of the longest reigns in WWE women's history.
Yes.
She's 33, Asuka is 41, so obviously, you know, there's a lot more years in the tank, but you can have Asuka just kick everyone in the face and it would be amazing. And Bianca Belair, I just don't buy that she could kick you in the face.
Well, and this is where you get into a problem, and this is where you especially get into a problem with what they've done with the women's division. This is why the women's showcase tag match didn't work, in my personal opinion, is if you have a Shayna Baszler on your roster, okay, maybe I can sports entertain believe that she can go into a ring with Bianca Belair and like not completely decapitate her, but absolutely win.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
If you're going to put Ronda Rousey in there and that match goes longer than 20 seconds and she doesn't snap her arm in half, there's a suspension of disbelief that's becoming such an issue. And Brock Lesnar is really, really good at it.
Yeah, that's
he's
true.
really good at selling.
That's true.
And maybe Ronda isn't. I don't know. I'm not going to criticize it for something that I haven't studied, but man, it takes a long time to figure that out. And that's one of my issues that I have with this. And just like you're saying, like, yeah, Asuka, I can believe is a champion. Bianca, it's fun and it's dancing and I love her. And I do think that some of the moves she do are absolutely amazing. I'd watch them for days, but you're going to throw yourself in the ring with Ronda and you expect me to come out believing that you're champion. I'm never going to do that. So yeah. That's the disconnect that we're having right now.
But I mean, it's
not equally balanced women's divisions. Do we need to create almost like, rather than Raw and SmackDown, like a pure fighting and like a women's title or something, just something, you know what I mean?
Maybe. No, I mean, look, okay.
Sorry, Derek. I just blew your mind. I know.
You have, yeah.
In my head, like, when I'm thinking about it, like, what makes sense to do with these like type of talents?
No, like, there is that kind of difference, and it's funny that you mentioned it. That's the problem that they had when they brought Steve Blackman in and Dan Severn. Like at Brawl for All, he would just kill them. Like that's what would happen. Mm-hmm. So obviously, it's kind of the danger when you're bringing the martial artists who are trained to fight rather than wrestle. But the thing about Asuka is she can do both, and she can sports entertain better than pretty much anyone. Because take outside the fact that she's legit, you can also say, right, she can spit misks. She's basically the Great Muta as a woman who's in the Hall of Fame. It made a lot more sense for her to like. Think about how cool that would be. She wins. Muta comes out. They celebrate together. They missed the WrestleMania opportunity.
They did.
I just don't get why Bianca won. No one benefited here. Asuka winning made a lot more sense.
Yeah, newsflash to those out there. Bianca Belair, her character is based on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, now I hate it so much more. I hate it so much more.
Doing so great recently. Will Smith.
Oh, stop.
So, I mean, come on.
Oh, now. I hate it so much more
what
now.
What are we even doing? Like, you're going to tell me that they didn't intend to one day try and incorporate that, especially with Peacock launching the show Bel Air when Bianca Belair headlined WrestleMania last year.
I hate it so much.
Clearly, that was some sort of tie-in they were going for, but then the Oscars happened.
Oh, Dave, you ruined my night.
Well, I'm just calling it as I see it.
No, I hate it so much.
I'm never going to be able to just view it as a wrestling show. I have to look at all the context around it, man. Like, that's just is what it is.
Because you're spot on. You're spot on. Like, that's probably what they were trying to do. Oh, my God, no. The worst thing ever. Oh, okay. Right. Need to move on because, no. Anyway, point is, look, if you're a Bianca Belair fan, I'm happy for you. I'm glad she won for you, but Asuka's the best. Sorry. It is what it is. Snoop Dogg, obviously, won a match against The Miz, which he completely made up and called on the fly. So, full on props to him. What an absolute legend move to just be like, all right, I guess I'll have a match.
He dropped that people's elbow like it was nobody's business.
It was nothing. He was like
one of the best I've ever seen. I don't care. I don't care what this means about it being the worst ever. No, it wasn't. Trust me, this was amazing.
He went out there call the match completely on the fly with no notice. Come on. No, absolutely. He deserves that belt. He deserves the Hall of Fame induction. Fair play, Snoop Dogg. I might not like your music, but I appreciate your work in wrestling.
Well, I'd never forget about Dre, so I'm not going to join you there. But
I don't even know what that is. I don't know the hippity hop.
Yeah.
I don't know it.
A true story. My Easter. So you have garden flags for your front yard. Is that thing you guys do over there across the sea? Well, anyway.
No.
So we have like these little like flags that we put on.
No, we have no idea what that is.
Each month, like whatever the theme is. I said St. Patrick's Day up, and before that, Valentine's Day and whatever. So this one is Easter, obviously. But rather than go super religious this year. Do you know what peeps are? Are you aware that it's candy?
No,
it's
are they the
marshmallow.
are they the little marshmallow ducks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah, we don't
bunnies.
have them, but I know what
they're bunnies. But you know what they are. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So it says hip hop, but the I and the O are peeps.
Oh God.
That's my garden flag for this Easter. So you're welcome for that knowledge.
Okay. Anyway. So my favorite match of the whole thing happened next, but before, so I was disappointed first and foremost, right? Gangrel wasn't there, even though his name dropped like 6 times during the match. Edge's entrance was weird. The fact that they did an ad for the Pope's Exorcist was also extremely bizarre, and he had a voiceover for Russell Crowe, which was even more bizarre. That movie was shot in Ireland, and some of my friends are in it. So I'm like, okay, I actually really want to see it because it looks pretty good. But the neck break pace of it, where it was like, oh, the Miz and Snoop Dogg to evil demons. It's like, oh, okay. But the promo package beforehand, before the Hell in a Cell, that was like proper old school Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, it was.
It was like, oh, we're back. You finally remembered what a Hell in a Cell match is supposed to be. Okay,
Russell Crowe, man. Can we talk about Russell Crowe narrating that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was unbelievable. I mean, that was a little stroke of genius. It was weird. It was very weird. But I'm like, oh, wow, okay. You guys have set the table for an actual Hell in a Cell match. And then the cell now is not the hideous red thing. It's a proper Hell in a Cell. And look, I was disappointed that Gangrel wasn't there. He should have been there. And Christian, they should have done that.
Didn't Gangrel do a show not too long ago? Like, he's around, right?
Yeah, and then he posted on his Instagram he's going home, and nobody believed him. I was like, oh man, come on! How much would have He probably would have done it for free for like a sandwich to hang out and catering. Like, come on! Like he's probably not expensive.
No, he probably just loved doing it, man. He's probably like, yeah, wait, I'm so relevant. Sign me up.
Yeah,
like that's how I would be. Like, listen, I mean, like, I'm sure I'd want money, but like at the end of the day, like. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah,
why not?
Like, all he had, like, I really genuinely don't understand why he didn't have him. Like, he's not doing anything else. Just bring him in. But anyway, and when Finn Balor came out, look, great to see the Demon. However, not in the middle of the day.
They tried to make it last. Man, they tried to make it dark. They tried everything they could, and I don't want to fault them for that.
No, I know, but listen, as someone who plays as someone who plays in a black metal band where we do the paint and that, right? Do you have any idea how stupid black metal looks in the day? Very. You need to have smoke, and it needs to be dark, and the lights. If it's not, you just look ridiculous.
No, I prefer when I get to see brightly lit churches with people sound checking their guitars for 20 minutes.
Exactly.
That's my.
And this is the equivalent of what this kind of looked like.
I see how you're seeing it. Okay.
And I was kind of like, oh man, this is and that's the one thing that indoor arenas have. You can't control. You can control it. You can't really control it when it's a big arena. So. I'm not going to fault him. It was kind of disappointing is all I'm saying. I was just like, oh no, there he is. Look, you can see him. Oh no.
But what did you think about hearing Slayer?
Oh man, I couldn't believe it. I was like, why are they playing South of Heaven? This is weird.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, yeah. Like,
so I don't think the entrances didn't work. I agree with you, it'd be cool, but there's only one match that was going to be able each night to have darkness, and we saw that on night one.
Yeah.
So I was aware going into night two. I was like, they might make it second to last just so they can try to get the lighting.
I appreciate that.
But that's why he didn't go for, and I appreciate that too. Like, and I think that's why he didn't go for the glow lighting.
Yeah, that makes
in
sense.
its aspect, he just went for straight body paint, which
looked great.
Looked amazing.
It did. It did look amazing. Yeah.
Like, forget whether or not like the whole gimmicky, like, yeah, I agree. The slithering was off. It looked a little hokey, whatever. But besides that absurd set, oh my god, how much that set cost? I don't even want to know. But other than that, like, he made it to the ring, and then once the match started, did I care about that? No.
Yeah, no. Look, as I said, it was Finn Balor is like,
so
the demon is important, right? It's like he needs to do it. It's his thing, and if I have, like, he has a lot more self control than I would have, where he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do something else. It's like, no, you really need it. It's the coolest thing in the world, man. You have to do it for big matches, and it was great to see him. This whole story was great. The match itself was so vicious, like
so brutal.
Finn
almost got me mad though. Almost got me pissed. I was not a happy camper during this match.
Why? What got you?
Well, exactly what you were about to say.
Oh, where Finn they threw a ladder and split his head completely open.
In no circumstance do you stop hell in a cell for blood. That's absurd to me.
That was ridiculous. Yeah, it's like you don't stop hell in a cell. Yeah, you don't. Well, actually, here's the thing. In the greatest lie ever told, King of the Ring, 1998. Not my quote, by the way. So, send your hate mail to Corey McChrystal. He quoted that line, but I do agree with him. That match was stopped a bunch of times so they could get Mick in and out. So it's kind of on brand, man.
I mean, there's a difference between falling 2 stories to your, hey, we think he might be dead. Should we go check on him? Yeah, let's go check on him, too. Hey, man, this guy's bleeding more than normal. Yeah, he's wearing a lot of paint, too. Are we really sure what's going on? Nah, not really. Hey, let's go staple his head, but not show any of it on camera, because God forbid you play this up on something that people paid for. Yeah, that's ridiculous to me.
No, man. I mean, like, the wound was, his head was split open, dude.
I want to see that.
You can't. It's not CZW, man. Come on. You need to have some humanity.
I do have humanity.
You wanted to see someone's head split open, dude. Come on.
What's more human than that?
No, man. No, you can't do that. No, look, I know where you're coming from, but you're dangerously on the line of wanting, like, blood in the arena. Come on.
Who doesn't want? Wait, hold on. Are you telling me? Wait, okay. Are you honestly trying to tell me that there shouldn't be blood in the arena during a Hell in a Cell match?
No, there should be, but like control blood, not someone's head split open. Like that's a.
I don't understand the difference between 2 things that you're saying right now.
Okay, one is like controlled and blading, and telling a story. The other one is like a ladder just split his head open, and we can't control it. Like.
That's the cool one. That's when you see like how long can you go until you pass out. That's when you like gain respect and like people go into the Hall of Fame. Like, I'm sorry, have you seen Mick Foley? Like, did you not just reference him? Am I not in the same conversation?
No, the difference was Vince said to Mick.
I'm sorry, is Terry Funk in the Hall of Fame? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Have you seen is Abdullah the Butcher in there? Is Mr. Hepatitis himself? Yes, I think he is. So like, let's be real with what we're doing here.
Okay, all right, okay, fair enough. No, I see your point, but I was okay with the man's health being looked after
But I didn't like that they didn't show us some stuff though. That bothered me. They could have cut the camera at him a couple times. I do think, obviously I'm being ridiculous, but I do think that what you're saying is correct. I just wish they had shown us a little bit more of what Finn was going through. That way we could gain sympathy.
I agree with you there.
The
fact that they cut away from it and didn't play it up kind of hurt, but then again, it wasn't Finn, it was the demon. So they weren't trying to humanize the demon. They were trying to be like, he's this obstacle that has to overcome, that Edge has to overcome. So I think if it had been switched around where he was the good guy, you might have got that. That's the only thing I can think about from a storytelling perspective.
Yeah, from a Mark's perspective, I can see why you feel that way.
I'm not a mark for Finn Balor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, he's cool.
Who do you root for? Tell me your favorite wrestlers aren't like, I don't know, Triple H, Finn Balor, and Sheamus. Like, come on now.
No, Sheamus isn't my favorite wrestler. I just run into Sheamus all the time for some reason. I don't.
Right.
Just randomly, it's bizarre.
So that doesn't make it any cooler. It doesn't add him up there on your list. I got you.
Okay, right. I'm a huge Finn Balor fan. All right. Fine,
Yeah, I
you caught
know.
me. I mean,
I know you are.
surprise, right? I mean, the black metal musician doesn't like Finn Balor from Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The guy that trained your friends, like
The guy that trains my friends,
no,
and
like,
the guy that's whole gimmick is Irish mythology. Yeah, I mean, okay,
Yeah.
but how am I not gonna?
The only guy that can go into WWE in blackface and be like, "Yo, it's my culture, bro," and we're like, "But yeah, it is actually."
He's a Celtic demon, dude. Come on.
Did you not hear what I just said? I said it's his culture.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
So it's not like I'm
It's
saying.
not.
Like,
yeah, I know.
he's like the guy that can get away with it, and I love him for that.
Oh my god. But look, okay, fair enough. You caught me. I was rooting for him over Edge. I really was. But the match was.
I was too.
The match
I was rooting for Finn.
The match was very good, though, wasn't it? Like legit.
Edge took a beating.
He got killed.
He died.
So good. He looked so like it was. It's hard because we've been so desensitized from Hell in a Cell matches being just poxy, like just terrible, like match in a cage that you can't really see. And this was the first Hell in a Cell match in about 15 years where it was actually a Hell in a Cell match. The last one was Taker and Trips. Other than that, like I can't remember one where it's like, oh yeah, that was actually a Hell in a Cell match that actually deserved to be one.
Yeah, let's never ever talk about Triple H versus Kevin Nash because that is the nightmares of my return to watching professional wrestling. That year?
Yeah, no, that was 2003 was a bad year in general.
I was quit because of that. I was like, bro, like I don't think I can watch this with you. Like,
no, that's fair. That's fair. No, 2003 is legitimately was a bad year. Yeah. That's actually when a lot of people stopped watching wrestling. I know we're getting off on a tangent, but that's when a lot of people just completely stopped.
I know, it's when I got back in. I'm a weird fan, man. The wrestling's down periods are my up periods.
Oh man. Anyway, so Edge did defeat Finn Balor in 18 minutes. The next match, so the final. So we kind of talked about it.
Wait, can we just take a moment and say that as much as I love Edge, we first like one part here. Like retrospect that could potentially be Edge's last match, as far as we're aware.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's close.
It could have been. I think we definitely saw Edge in Montreal for the last time, based on what the rumor said.
Yeah.
So good for Edge for that. But man. Like Judgment Day had some cool storylines, like the Dominic one worked out and the Rhea one worked out, but this was supposed to be AJ Styles, man.
Yeah.
And even the dialogue for it, like, oh, like I've been chasing you around the globe, like there were parts where I was like, was this pre-written and you guys just forgot to change the dialogue for this? So I'm not going to go to a WrestleMania show without mentioning the guy I'm going to mark out for the most, but like that did hurt a bit during this match.
At least you admit it.
I don't have any problems admitting like what my motivation is, but at the same time, like I did notice that during this match and like during the build-up, that some of the dialogue was clearly written for a Finn and the Judgment Day versus AJ and the Bullet Club storyline versus like Edge and the Brood storyline, if you will.
But you know what? I do think
I'm not saying it didn't work. I'm saying it was absolutely fantastic, and I think that Edge is. I even watched that crappy sci-fi show he's on, and I say crappy lovingly because I genuinely watched like 8 seasons of that show. So like I put my time in. So if you want to hate on me, put in the time I put in, and then choose to hate on me. That's fine with me if you choose at that point.
That's fair.
But no, I have a lot of respect for Edge, and I thought this was absolutely amazing. But just as an AJ fan, I knew what this was supposed to be originally, and so it hurt a little.
You know what, though? On that point, I think we will get that match. And the thing about it is Finn has kind of been spinning his wheels for a while in WWE, and he has, like, legitimately. I think
It's like they're waiting.
Yeah, they're waiting. I do think that this made him more of a star. Like this was a star-making performance for Finn Balor. He was already a star, but I mean, he went out and put on an incredible performance against Edge.
That coup de grace, coup de grace, man. Oh my goodness,
amazing. So it's like the thing about it is, it's like, yeah, fair enough. I think that match with AJ Styles will probably happen. It could even main event WrestleMania. It could be for the belt.
SummerSlam at best.
I don't know.
Mania, man.
It's up there anyway, man. It's up there anyway. Like we
gonna split these
don't
belts. Know. Like, is something interesting gonna happen? Like, that's what bothers me. Is like, I wish that maybe Cody had just challenged for one of the belts.
Yeah, I think that was probably the downfall, and that kind of brings us back to our main event. Look, the two belt thing, they should have broken it up. I don't know what they were doing, but obviously with the WWE sale thing, we kind of have a bit more.
It's messing with our heads. Like
it is. Yeah.
It's like this is a situation where and like to you that are listening, like you're the exact same way when you watch wrestling. Like you form these opinions in your mind the same way that we do, which is okay, like this makes sense because maybe they're going to book this in the future, or hey, like I went on Reddit and like I read this rumor, so this kind of makes sense like with that.
Yeah.
This totally flips everything on its head where we have to reevaluate the way that the company's decisions were being made less than what? 3 hours? I think we found out 3-4 hours after this pay-per-view went off the air, essentially. Maybe 5 if they were being generous for the market. Like
that's what I'm saying, man.
Our mentality had to switch from just reviewing a pay-per-view to, hey, reviewing a pay-per-view and what does WrestleMania 39 mean in context of the last the last McMahon pay-per-view until WrestleMania 40, which is under this entire new umbrella. What does this mean historically? What is this context? How did things change to help facilitate a deal? Did decisions get made? Did champions remain champions for a specific reason? Like, I've never had to sit down and review a WrestleMania with this much of a paradigm shift within, let's be generous and say 5 hours of what wrestling reality is. Have you?
No. I mean, like, the only thing that comes close, and again, it doesn't really come close. It comes as close as you and me are now geographically, is when TNA would go through different management periods. When it was literally bought by someone else and everything would have to change pretty much overnight. It kind of takes away from the in-ring product at that point, because you're like, the in-ring product doesn't matter, but this is different because, the product is still good, but
and the product is what's selling the company. So
exactly.
Is what's being done with the product a result of what the company wants done, or because they want to sell the company? And that's what's really screwing with my mind, and maybe screwing with some of our listeners'
and mine. I mean,
well.
that's the conundrum, and I mean, nothing sums that conundrum up more than the Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes dynamic. And again, I know what you've said at the beginning of the show where you believe that Reigns was always winning. He probably was. But I just can't shake that large parts of this match had to have been changed. Hours, if not minutes, before they went out. I just, something, man, there's just something off about it. You're like, okay, and in context again, I'm sure if I went back and watched it now, you're like, oh yeah, that probably what it was. That's probably what it was, or that's what they were setting up, or that's the point where you're like, yeah, this is where it went off the rails. Because look, they start doing weird finisher trading, and I'm like, right, when a match heavily finisher trades like this, particularly when Reigns and Cody they don't have to do that. That's when I'm like, okay, there's something up here. This is not just a straight match, and as a match, again, we said, look, it's a C+. It's a decent match. Cody's he's a mid-carder. Please be Stardust again. Please, Cody. That's all we want.
An insult.
It's not an insult. No. Stardust was amazing. He's not in Roman Reigns' league, generally. Roman Reigns is phenomenal.
Hey, you know who one of my favorite wrestlers of all time was?
Who?
Rey Mysterio in the 90s. And guess what? He was in a bodysuit with his face completely covered. So who really are you disrespecting?
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong. Like, even the Road Dogg was a number one contender at one point.
He did have that match, to much his surprise. This is an interesting one for me.
Actually, hold on. But before you jump in, right?
Okay, sure.
I have a question. So for you, actually. So before this match started, you obviously thought Reigns was going to retain.
I did. Unfortunately.
What were you hoping?
It wasn't a good feeling.
No. What were you hoping would happen? Were you hoping that he'd retain? Were you hoping that the match would at least be good, or were you hoping for a proper setup? Because I mean, where did he go? Like, that's kind of the follow up from that. Like, what were you hoping, and where did he go now?
So this was, oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Cody Rhodes fans. I hope you know that I genuinely respect you people. So first thing I was hoping is that somehow Cody Rhodes would learn how to do some interesting wrestling moves.
Oh, thank God.
Because
yeah, he can't do it. He's so bad at it.
I'm sorry.
He's terrible.
He's terrible. I just don't like him. There was
so
a part
boring.
of me that was
So
hoping. I played him in WWE 2K23. It's not the best moveset in the world, is all I'm going to say. It's based on real life, right? I don't know. Maybe I was hoping Randy Orton would return and help him win. I don't know, man. Obviously, like Owens and Zayn were expected. They showed up. Usos were expected. They showed up. Solo being ejected. Showed up. I don't really understand how he was allowed to return. I didn't really like that. I thought they could have ended it maybe differently.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. I'll be honest with you.
Because I'm a firm believer that if the referee sees that you're back at ringside, then the match should end up as disqualification, which would technically mean that Roman is still champion still. But
you know what I was expecting to happen?
That's just not how I like it to go.
I was expecting someone to come out and go restart the match.
Yeah, so that this is where things were getting weird for me. Is I've always said that Cody Rhodes' best match that I've ever personally seen is his NWA Heavyweight Championship
with
victory
Magnus.
That was in AEW. Yes, I believe over Magnus.
Yeah. That was a good match.
And there was a lot of the emotion. And by the way, shout out to what he did for Luke Harper's son at the beginning of the match. That was super sentimental. But like I said, a dead giveaway that things weren't going to go the way things were going to go, especially holding his kid like that. That was come on Cody, like you're better than that, I think. But the belt was a nice touch. I liked, but it didn't make sense to me the way that some of the interference went, or like maybe there was somebody extra that needed to interfere. Like where is Goldust? Like
in AEW,
that wouldn't have necessarily. Okay, well, all right, screw that then. But like something else could have happened to make. I don't know, like. It didn't have a big. How do I explain this? It didn't have a big moment like.
Yeah, because
Brock Lesnar can make something extraordinary happen.
Yeah, because Lesnar's a star. Cody isn't.
Well, this is why I didn't think he'd win, bro. Like, this is why everybody was saying he'd win. I was like, but again, like Cody Rhodes, y'all. Like, Ted DiBiase's a really cool cat. Like, I met him, but like, come on, he's still Ted DiBiase Jr. Like, he's still not going to win a championship.
It's like, be real. Come on.
Like, like AJ Styles was somehow WWE champion for a year. I don't know how, but God granted that miracle for a year where Vince just forgot AJ existed. So like, I'm forever thankful, but it's never going to happen again. Like,
it's so bizarre because I'm like, it seems like the whole world had this collective illusion that Cody Rhodes is a star, and I don't know if it's because he was in AEW saying he's a star. I was like, he's not though. Like,
these are the texts I was sending. Am I missing something? Though. This is still Cody, right? Like we're still talking about Cody Rhodes.
And honestly, look, I'm not being sardonic. He was great as Stardust. He was even great as Dashing Cody Rhodes or Damaged Cody Rhodes. They were cool.
Dashing was good, yeah.
Saying my dad is Dusty Rhodes is not a character. It's not a character. It's not. It's not a character. And I don't know how people bought into that. I'm like, look, the American Dream, okay, cool. I wasn't really attached to him either. I can't believe so many people were, but it's like, okay, he did some promos. That was cool. Awesome. Still doesn't make it a character. It's like the Charlotte Flair thing all over. It's exactly the Charlotte Flair thing all over again. That's exactly what it is. It's like you're more attached to their dad than they were to them. It's weird for me. I'm like, I don't watch wrestling because someone's dad. I mean, wasn't a massive Rey Mysterio fan. Dominic is quite cool. I mean, he has range, you know? It's just strange. I'm like, I wasn't a big IRS fan, but I really like Bray Wyatt. You know, you see how that works?
Right.
You see how it works?
I never watched Bob Orton, singing or whatever. Like,
same, but I love Randy Orton. Yeah, it's... I think this is unhealthy. And I mean, maybe if you're one, because I'm seeing some people freak out online. Actually, you go on Twitter and you really see it, that cesspit that it is. And they're really upset that Cody didn't win. It's like, why? Why were you upset Cody didn't win? I mean, let me know.
Well,
he
here's
can
what
tweet us.
people forget. Here's what people forget,
Go on.
Darren.
Go on.
The fact that they're that upset that Cody didn't win means that the WWE won.
Yes, of course.
That's what that means. That
Yes.
means booking was done correctly because
Yes.
it made you feel something you weren't
Exactly.
expecting to feel.
Yeah.
And sorry, guys, you can call it crazy. You can call it Russo booking. You can dismiss it because you don't want that to be the reality you live in because you want to fanboy over somebody. And I respect that, Martin. But listen, at the end of the day, if you read the goddamn tea leaves,
The man is not here to defend
pretty
himself.
obvious
Come on.
what was going to happen. I've seen his videos. I'm feeling confident.
Look, the thing about it is, it's like,
I'm kidding. Hearts for you. Hearts for you, Martin.
look, I've been here. I've been defending when Triple H would win stuff or not win stuff, and one of the reasons I don't like John Cena is because when I was John Cena as the wrestler, when I was like 16, I got to see Triple H go for the WWE title in the house show, and he lost, and I was devastated. And I never forgive Triple H for it. I never forget John Cena for beating Triple H like that. So look, I totally get it. I totally understand being upset, but at the same time, it's like Cody Rhodes. It's not. He's not a
Cody Rhodes.
He's not a star. Come on, like.
So, but okay, so like, okay, if we are being real,
we are being real.
So
he
we
wears
talked
a
about
stupid.
all of
He
Mania.
wears a stupid weight belt for some reason. Why does he wear a stupid weight belt? I don't understand it. Can someone explain it to me? He doesn't look like he's that big.
Because Brandy likes it, and Brandy tells him to put it on, so he does.
Yeah, and you know what she didn't tell him to do? Get that stupid tattoo, but he got it anyway.
Oh, that's a terrible tattoo.
Oh my god!
It's
like,
the worst tattoo in the world.
It's the worst tattoo I've ever seen. I've seen some awful tattoos.
So Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns hasn't been pinned since 2019.
Right.
December of 2019.
Right.
Somebody's got to win this belt eventually.
Okay.
Probably not till next WrestleMania, if they're being real. Who? Like if like that's
The Rock.
Like let's try and end this on like a positive like
The Rock.
note. What's the Rock?
Think about it. Think about it. I mean,
that makes it so that no actual wrestler wins, and I don't cop out. Don't cop out because they already did that. We already lived that timeline. We're not redoing that timeline. It hasn't been 20 years yet. You know the 20-year rule. It hasn't been 20 years.
Yeah,
it
but
has been 20 years. I'm really old.
Hold on. The thing about it is they really want to do it, but Vince won't
Stop
be
it.
in control.
No, you're looking for an answer that I'm not going to let you have.
Okay. Right. Go on. Okay.
Who does Roman eventually lose it to? Do they bring somebody new in? Is it somebody on the current roster? NXT? Who is it at this point? He's beaten everybody.
Maybe Braun Breaker. But imagine it's CM Punk.
Okay, do we live in a world where CM Punk both wrestled in UFC and WWE, and thus Endeavor goes, well, I remember him getting us a lot of buys for both of these companies.
I can see it.
And Triple H goes, damn, we can't overrun this with a vote anymore.
Yeah, and he has nowhere else to go. So maybe, because he does draw.
This is the best thing for CM Punk. Wait, who would have thought the WWE getting sold would be the best thing for CM Punk in the world? He's back. Eric Bischoff will show up and introduce him, and it'll be a great moment.
Oh, dude, book it. Oh, I would. That would be the best thing ever. Oh, yes. Okay. Has to happen. But no, in all seriousness, man, I mean, stuff like that could happen. Now, they could bring in someone else. They could bring in, someone from the UFC. I don't know. I genuinely don't.
Cormier's been there a lot.
Yeah, but like whoever gets it is either okay. Let's do it this way. It will either be someone to cement their legacy as one of the greatest of all time. So if it's someone pre-existing, that's if like an established star wins it. Just say a Rock or AJ or whatever, right? But
thanks for flaunting the horn.
Come on, AJ's great, man. He is. I'm a TNA fan forever, so of course. But if it's someone new, it's a pass the torch moment, and there is talk that Roman Reigns is going to be taking some time off. So I do think it'll be one or the other. It would be a massive legacy guy and it's cementing them as the one that's greatest of all time, or a star making experience.
You know
I
who
don't know
it
who
is,
it is.
right?
No, I've no idea who it is, genuinely.
You know who it's got to be.
Who?
There's only one answer that WWE has been booking for a year. And this sucks.
Austin Theory, actually, maybe.
Absolutely. It has
would
to
make
be.
a lot of sense.
Listen, because even if Theory, I haven't watched Raw yet. I'm getting a lot of texts, so I'm assuming it's really, really good tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it now.
I'm going to go watch it very, very soon. But I just want to say that Austin Theory is a fantastic talent and a fantastic sports entertainer, and really starting to look like a fantastic professional wrestler as well. Yeah, I could see it happening. I could see them going for it.
So
I could see Austin Theory be. I mean, who else? Who else is there? Who? Who?
I mean, I kind of want CM Punk to win now.
But would that make sense for the future of the company? It wouldn't. That's the problem. It's like it has to be somebody that either people want to see get beat, which you could with Theory, or like people want to see win. You know, like with Punk, it would be like an ego trip for somebody that doesn't really care about the company, and everybody knows that, even if they like him.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, I mean, he doesn't care about anybody but himself. Like, legitimately, it's been proven. Like, even at the expense of the company. Like, but it is the draw. So, I mean, if WWE wanted to bring in somebody, if new management, let's say not WWE, wanted to bring someone in, like that, they would have to. I mean, it wouldn't be Omega. They wouldn't give it to Omega. There's no way.
No, because they wouldn't have enough time to build it up in WWE fans' minds who Omega even is.
Exactly. So
it wouldn't matter. Like, it has to be somebody that's known now in WWE, I feel. And I agree. There's any free agents or like maybe other than Adam Cole, if you really wanted to go crazy.
It wouldn't be Adam Cole.
No, but I'm saying like he's legitimately the closest person I can think of to a non-current WWE talent that could get an amazing reaction. I don't think there's anybody that they could bring over and in the course of like WrestleMania season 3-4 months introduce. That's a WWE books crap. They don't do it a year in advance. Like they do it 3-4 months in advance.
They'd have to establish somebody, and the only person that I'm looking at the roster at the card right now. The only person they've established who hasn't already been beaten by Reigns is Austin Theory.
It's got to be him.
Yeah, I think you're right. Or Logan Paul. Imagine, but Logan Paul's already been beaten by Reigns, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and he was
I don't think it could be somebody that's been beaten. Yeah, that was a good match though.
It was a good match.
Disturbingly good match. Like,
so
it's not about whether you like him or don't like him. The guy just.
Yeah, as I said, as a person, he's vile, but as a wrestler, man, I mean, yeah, like
one day, Seth Rollins will come down to the ring dressed as the Toy Story alien. That's everybody's dream.
Amazing, but yeah, look, okay, I tell you what, we put it on the board. Austin Theory dethrones Roman Reigns. You heard it here first on the rewind. So far, we're right. We've been writing two of the biggest stories ever in wrestling: Sting coming over to WWE. And WWE being sold because everyone said we were crazy.
Wait, and Roman Reigns beating Cody Rhodes,
of course. Well, you weren't on the show, so that was just in our group chat. So, but we'll give you the credit.
Wait, don't! How dare you?
It wasn't on the show. Was it on the show?
Did you say on the show? I'll flick this switch over here and deplatform us right now if I don't get credit.
No, you do get credit. He does.
How does Mixer work again?
Mixer, oh my god. To be fair, ladies and gentlemen, while Dave didn't say it because he wasn't on the show, he did say it in a group chat, so he does get credit. So we're 3 for 3 so far. 3 for 3. So Dave, we're gonna finish up, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. Absolute pleasure. As always. How can the people find you on the internet?
Yeah, definitely follow me at the Dave Stevens, TheDavestepens. You can follow me on the Instagram or the Twitter, whatnot. I don't really Twitter that much unless I want to complain. And the only thing I've Twittered about in the past month is something about Elon Musk and the fact of how much I dislike Charlotte Flair. That's literally all that I've tweeted about. So definitely follow me for Instagram. You can find me juggling and fun stuff like that.
Well, folks, if you also don't like Charlotte Flair, you can tell us that, because I mean, or if you do like Charlotte Flair, please let us know why. Because I genuinely don't know why anyone would be a fan of Charlotte.
Send us match recommendations that. Please don't.
Yeah, because I mean, I just don't get it. But you can go over to the wrestlingrewind.com now. It's a link tree. There's a link to all of our socials, our email. You can contact us directly. We have the Patreon. You can go get your X-Pac Euros, your Bookly list. There's some there's some more content over there. Loads of free content over on Nerd to Know Media, on the wrestlingrewind.com, and the True Penny channel. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. Actually, I don't know what we're doing next week. So go to our social media and we'll put it out there. But thank you so much for joining us for a special WrestleMania show. Dave, thank you so much for being on the show. Hopefully you'll be back soon.
Absolute pleasure.
And we will talk to you next week here on the Wrestling Rewind, the only wrestling podcast by fans that don't hate wrestling. See you later, guys.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.